Sunday Game Day Live on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
He's having a blinder. He's clipped the post. He's looking formidable. Then...
substitution.
His game might be over, but yours isn't. With Betfair's Safe Sub, your bet simply rolls onto the player coming on. Playing a different league with Betfair.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Applies to singles, multiples and bet builder bets on qualified player outcome selections. Does not apply to odds boost. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus gambleware.org.
At AJ Bell, we believe investing is for everyone. Even people who know nothing about investing. Like Keith, who thought dividends were a boy band. Jessica, who thought compound interest was a prison dating app. And Sue thought FTSE 100 was a bit of under-the-table fun, which surprised her accountant.
Oh, no.
If we can make investing feel good for them, it's no wonder Which have recommended us 7 years running. AJ Bell, feel good investing. The value of your investments can go up or down.
The year is 1876. Alexander Graham Bell files a patent for something called a telephone. While in Bolton, a resourceful young woman called Ellen Warburton wonders how she'll make ends meet at her family grocer's. "Pass me that bag of flour," she says to her husband, Thomas Warburton. "Let's see if we can sell some of my bread tomorrow." And the rest, as they say, is history. Warburton's, toasting 150 years.
Sunday Game Day Live on Talk Sport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now. Like Sunderland versus Fulham live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply. All you can eat football. Sunday Game Day Live.
The greatest drama in the world. This is the Premier League. Front Larson! I say! And driven in! Would you believe it? The youngster in Dozy!
Igor Jesus making his way forward towards the edge of the penalty area, and it is in!
Space opens up, and Salah buries it! Jack in deflection, and in! Wilson controls it, right footed poke into the corner, and Fulham lead again!
This is the Premier League, this is Talk Sport, and it's about to heat up again.
Yes, this is TalkSport. It's Sam Motherface live at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with the sunshine out ahead of the North London derby. Shortly we'll be crossing to our teams that are bringing us the 3 Premier League games which kick off at 2 o'clock. Elsewhere, right now, Celtic take on Hibernian, 3 o'clock kickoff in the Scottish Premiership with Livingston Rangers at the same time. Sheffield United 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. That's going into the final few minutes of that game. Sheffield Wednesday about to be relegated. In the Women's FA Cup 5th round, West Ham 2-1 down at home to Brighton. That game finishes very shortly. It kicks off at midday. Arsenal 1-0 up against Bristol City. That one kicked off at 1 o'clock. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. Angelina Kelly is there for us. That's a 1:30 start. Manchester City versus Sheffield United kicks off at 2. Oxford United, Charlton 2. And Liverpool against Everton 4:30 this afternoon. Red card in the Steel City derby. TalkSport's Alan Biggs.
We're going to finish at 10 v 10 here. Sheffield United 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Wednesday reduced to 10 players by Gabriel Otegbeyo sending off for a second yellow card. A cynical foul, no question about the yellow card, and that really has relieved pressure on Sheffield United as the board goes up for 7 minutes of stoppage time, during which Sheffield Wednesday would have to score twice with those 10 players to earn a reprieve from relegation to League One, which would be the earliest that any club has been relegated in English football, for that relegation to take place in February. The closing stages are on TalkSport 2 live. Sheffield United 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose really what it says is just how badly run they were under Delphine Chancerai. And again, you know, it just brings into sharp focus what happens going forward with the new football relegator. But they're down to 10 players. It's 2-1. They're in injury time. They're about to be relegated and they're about to lose the Steel City derby. Let's get off to Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace against Wolverhampton Wanderers. James Fielden is there and he's got the headline team news.
Yeah, no Maxence Lacroix today for Crystal Palace. He's injured, but Oliver Glasner has said ahead of this game he'll be back for the second leg against Zrinski on Thursday. Kamada, Sosa and Johnson also out of the side for Palace as Canvo comes into the back line. Hughes, Mitchell reinstated and Pino starting in the forward line as well. Wolves make one change from the draw against Arsenal on Wednesday as Tolu Arakadare comes back in up front to replace Angel Gomez, who was suffering with a back spasm. Palace against Wolves gets underway in just over 10 minutes.
James, I was in Mostar with Crystal Palace in the week and the fans were not happy with Oliver Glasner. What's the vibe you're getting inside the stadium?
There is a lot of conversation going on. I mean, I guess you could say that about any game, 10 to kick-off, couldn't you? But it was so quiet walking to the stadium today, and I saw a tweet actually from one of the Palace fans that I follow last night just saying how many empty seats there were going to be today because season ticket holders had sold their tickets back to the club, and I think morale here is pretty much on the floor. You know, Glasner's struggling, he obviously wants to go, but Palace won't let him. Fans are done with this season. God knows what the players are thinking at the moment. They've got a manager who's either throwing them under the bus, saying they haven't got substitutes good enough to use, or a number of things that Glasner's been doing in recent weeks. I think everyone is just kind of ready to move on from this situation, but it seems like it's going to drag on for, well, maybe a good while yet, unless Wolves beat them today and maybe force Steve Parish's arm. Who knows? But at the moment, everyone's okay, but I imagine once kick-off starts and maybe things start to go against the home side, then the mood might change.
Yeah, we'll get a little check-in with you throughout the course of the game to see how it's going. I do think that if they were to lose today, I think that would be the end of the line. It does feel as if it's coming to an end anyway, Alex Crook. I know that you're got your ear to the ground in this market and sort of finding out what's going on. I know that you broke the story that Robbie Keane was one of those being considered if they do part company with Glasner. What is the latest? What's the position from Palace's hierarchy?
Yeah, my understanding when it comes to Robbie Keane is similar to his stance on this job here at Tottenham, actually, that he would take the job if there was a contract beyond the end of the season. He's not going to leave a stable club in Ferencváros, who he led to the Hungarian title last season, just for an interim appointment. So I'd imagine that's something that Crystal Palace are weighing up. But certainly the mood music at the back end of last week was that this can't go on much longer in terms of Oliver Glasner. I think, from what I'm told, even some of the players may have made their feelings clear on the matter to the hierarchy that a change is needed, because he's basically checked out, hasn't he? He's thrown the fans under the bus, he's thrown the board under the bus, and he's thrown his own players under the bus. I
don't think there's much more room under the bus, to be honest with you, the amount of things he's thrown underneath it. Perry Grove, should they sack him now?
Yep, because it is a slow, painful death, isn't it? And all the Palace fans, it's amazing how football can change around so quickly, isn't it? Obviously from winning the FA Cup, the first major trophy in their history, winning obviously the Community Shield as well, and they've got a brilliant chance of winning another major trophy, obviously in the Conference League. But the thing that Oliver Glasner...
Not if they play like they did on Thursday night.
But they still, obviously, they drew 1-1, and they've got them coming back, obviously, Selhurst Park. You'd expect them to go through. With Oliver Glasner, right, you can understand his frustrations with the owner and the board, obviously getting demoted from Europa League to the Conference League because of administration errors, which they should have been all over. You can understand his frustration in the recruitment and not getting players in early enough what he wanted. But one thing you cannot do when you're manager is criticise your players publicly. And after the Mostar game, he said that they were players, and he named them, that were playing as if they were going to get away and looking forward to the next move rather than concentrating on what they're doing at the minute. Now, if I was Adam Wharton and Munoz, I'd be knocking on his door and saying to him, don't you dare ever question my commitment, because I am a Crystal Palace player and I'm doing everything I possibly can. You're the one who's causing all the problems at the minute, so don't then try and deflect it on me. So I think, I agree with Crookie, I thought the players were with him. After that statement, I think if they go 1-0 down against Wolves, this is a different Wolves team than what it was 4 months ago. They got their pride back. It could turn pretty nasty at Selhurst Park today.
OK, back with James very shortly. Sunderland against Fulham kicks off in just a few moments. Paul Mitchell's got the headline team news.
Granit Xhaka, who's been out for the last 5, makes the bench for Sunderland today. They're very much delighted about that round this way. Sunderland's last Premier League outing came against Liverpool. It was a loss. Ronaldo is out. Troy Hume drops into left back, so there's a first Premier League start for Jocelyn Tibby, the 21-year-old Ivorian who Regis Lebris thinks is a bundle of energy. Be great to see what he can do today. Marco Silva makes one change from the last Premier League outing, the loss against Man City. Kevin comes in, the Brazilian who last started at the end of January against Brighton. Samuel Chukwueze is out with a calf injury. Fulham on the worst run of the league season, looking to do something about it today.
Yeah, they've lost last 3, conceding more than 2 each time as well. They take on a Sunderland side that have lost back-to-back Premier League games for the first time this season against Arsenal and Liverpool. Let's get off to the City Ground. Nottingham Forest against Liverpool. Jeff Peters has the headline team news.
Yeah, Forest unchanged from the win in Turkey on Thursday. Ortega in goal, Aina, Murillo, Milenkovic and Williams, Anderson and Sangare in front, Hutchinson, Gibbs-White and Hudson-Odoi behind Igor Jesus. Liverpool welcome back Hugo Ekitike and Ryan Gravenberch. They're in for Jones and Chiesa. Allison in goal, Szoboszlai at right back, Konate, Van Dijk and Kirkes, Gravenberch and McAllister central, Salah, Wirtz and Gakpo behind Ekitike.
Former England fullback Mickey Gray is alongside Jeff at the City Ground this afternoon. Hi Mickey. Vitor Pereira, is he going to be able to keep Forest up, and is it wise to play the same team twice in 3 days?
Well, I think they got momentum from that big win in midweek, Sam, didn't they, against Fenerbahce? So absolutely, the players will want to come out and play against a side like Liverpool. Look, this is one of my favourite grounds to come to. I don't come here very often, but it's always a brilliant atmosphere. But just having a look at that league table, Sam, I mean, it's imperative that Nottingham Forest start to pick up points, and today it's going to be tough against a Liverpool side who were buoyed after having 8 days rest after a really good performance against Brighton, so it's game on today.
Back with you guys throughout the course of the afternoon as we give you all the goals as they go in throughout the course of the afternoon. Sheffield Wednesday have been relegated at the home of their fiercest rivals. Here's TalkSport's Alan Biggs.
Full-time, Sheffield United 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Wednesday's long certain relegation confirmed, and it's the first time in the English Football League that a club has been relegated as early as February. That is the legacy of the former Sheffield Wednesday owner Dapon Chansiri, but at least this beleaguered football team has gone down fighting on the day, which didn't seem likely in the first half. I'll just break off a moment. A couple of supporters coming on the pitch, and the referee with players is looking to sort out that brief incursion. I think that's now died down. But first half, absolute landslide dominance from Chris Wilder's Blades, Patrick Bamford and Harrison Burrows with well-crafted goals. The game turned after the break on Calvin Phillips' red card, straight red, a challenge on Svante Ingolson. He got the ball, but it's the follow-through which did for him. Following which, almost immediately, Charlie McNeil, a great finish, brought the Owls back into it, but Sheffield United stood tall, reduced to 10 players, and then so were the Owls when Gabriel Otegbayo followed suit. He was sent off for 2 yellow cards. So it's finished here at Bramall Lane, an eventful, highly charged Steel City derby with a fateful outcome for the Owls, and the Wednesday players are being applauded and saluted because by the several thousand followers from the other side of the Steel City, because whatever else, they've shown fight and they have shown pride against all the odds in this awful championship campaign for them. Full-time Bramall Lane, Sheffield United 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
Cheers, Biggsy, thank you very much. I'm sure that Chris Wilder will be absolutely delighted that he is responsible for sending Sheffield Wednesday down, but it hasn't been one of those sort of rivalries this season that you can celebrate too much because of the fact that everybody actually feels quite sorry for Sheffield Wednesday. I'm sure a former Sheffield Wednesday player, Mickey Gray, does as well. That's where you finished your professional career, Mickey. And just very quickly, what are your feelings watching what's happened to Sheffield Wednesday?
It's been awful, Sam. It really has, from the ownership to what's been happening at that football club over the last decade, and things need to start to turn around. They want their football club back. It's a club that has got great support, it's got great history, and I just hope that going down into League One gives them an opportunity to bounce straight back and get the club back to where it belongs.
Jeff Peters is alongside you at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest taking on Liverpool in just a few moments. The players coming out and getting ready to start proceedings, but there's been a change in the Liverpool lineup, Jeff.
Yeah, Florian Wirtz was due to start. He's picked up a knock, so Curtis Jones, who started the last game, comes into the starting lineup. Presumably he will play at right back, and Szoboszlai will then move back into midfield, that would kind of make sense. But yeah, an injury in the warm-up, Mickey.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Because they've got a bit of flow at the moment, Liverpool. But I think it's going to suit them, because Curtis Jones can settle into that right-back position a lot better than what Szoboszlai does. And we know at the moment Szoboszlai is probably one of the best midfield players in the Premier League, and they need him further up the pitch.
Gentlemen, back with you very shortly, because the 2 o'clock game's just about to start. It's Game Day Live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Next, we'll be taking you around the grounds in the Premier League. And we're going to speak to Chris Iwelumo. He's been at Bramall Lane for us this afternoon on TalkSport 2, where Sheffield Wednesday have been relegated at the home of their arch-rivals.
I'll now hand you over to my best man, Eddie. Wow, wow, wow. Second time's a charm, eh, Billy boy?
Oh, God. Substitution courtesy of Paddy Power. Embarrassing Eddie makes way for sensible Samuel.
Cool, that was close. You might not always pick the right starter, but your sub can still deliver. Because with Paddy's Super Sub, your bet rolls over to the player coming on. Paddy Power.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Pre-match and in-play bets on qualifying player outcome selections only. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18+, gambleware.org.
You know what I love about Eurostar? The comfortable seats with lots of legroom. You know what I don't love? Playing hide and seek with my feet. Or playing footsies with my neighbour.
Ouch!
Sorry. Now that I'm on the Eurostar, the only game I'm playing is stretchy leg, and I always win. That's the ticket.
Eurostar. Together we go further. Legroom varies by class of service.
Full coverage Sunday. Game Day Live.
It's TalkSport, Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Perry Groves. 2 o'clock in the sun on a Sunday afternoon. The temperature's starting to rise at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and we're on Game Day Live right the way through to 6:30 tonight. Arsenal lead the way in the Premier League, but they can hear the blue engine of Manchester City purring right on their bumper. Meanwhile, Spurs have reached for the reset button yet again. It's a new era, a new boss, and the same old North London nerves. We've got all the goals flying in across the country. The Steel City is divided, and we're just getting started. Sheffield Wednesday have been relegated to League One today. Here's TalkSport's Alan Biggs.
Sheffield United 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Yes, Wednesday officially down. United closing in on playoff contention. Could and should have been by a wider margin. First half goals from Bamford and Burrows for the Blades. They had many big chances towards the end as well, after Phillips' red card and McNeil's goal threatened a shock turnaround. Wednesday's Otegbayo sent off as well to compound their misery. Sheffield United 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
Underway at the City Ground. TalkSport's Jeff Peters.
It's Forest 0, Liverpool 0, but a big early chance for Callum Hudson-Odoi, the Forest keeper, the Liverpool keeper. Alisson coming out to block. Forest hoping to go 5 points clear of the relegation zone. Liverpool haven't won back-to-back away league games since September. They could climb a place to 5th. Wirtz injured in the warm-up. Curtis Jones starting, but the first big opportunity going Forest way here. 0-0.
What's happening in the opening exchanges at Selhurst Park this afternoon? TalkSport's James Fielden.
Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0. No action on the field, but in terms of Glasner, watch two key moments. Glasner walking down the touchline, applauded some of the fans who applauded him back, then looked at a big burly fellow down in front of me here. He applauded him and back towards Glasner. This fellow pointed at the corner of the ground and ushered him out of it. And then just a minute into the game, Crystal Palace fans who were fined 50 grand this week for a banner they unfurled earlier this season against Evangelos Marinakis have brought out another banner here. It reads, "Fans disrespected, Glasner finished." They want him out, they want him gone. So far no action on the field, but stories off it. Palace 0, Wolves 0.
Yeah, we thought the mood was going to be bad, but I don't think any of us anticipated it being that bad. It's toxic at Selhurst Park, and if you want to have your say on it, it's 03717 22 33 44. Early chances in the game between Sunderland and Fulham. Paul Mitchell.
And Sunderland who are making the early running. Lively start by them. Justin Tabby, a little touch on the right hand side, trying to get the ball into the box. The defence, Batty and Anderson struggling at one point to get the ball away. But Fulham, well, the last 2 away days have been in Manchester. They returned to London empty handed, just 1 point for the last 4 away. And at the moment Sunderland have opened brightly at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 0, Fulham 0.
At 4:30, it's the biggest North London derby in recent history. Alex Crook.
No time for excuses. That's the defiant message from new Spurs boss Igor Tudor in his maiden programme notes. The Croatian firefighter has won his first game in charge of each of his last 5 clubs, but Spurs haven't beaten Arsenal in any of the last 7 North London derbies. Will that change this afternoon? It's going to be fever pitch as Tottenham welcome Arsenal.
In the Scottish Premiership, Celtic take on Hibernian at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Livingston against Rangers also kicks off at 3. What's the latest in the Women's FA Cup between Chelsea and Manchester United? Let's get to Kings Meadow. Angelina Kelly.
It's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. Great start for Chelsea with Erin Cuthbert, Kira Walsh and Alyssa Thompson all testing United's defence. The Red Devils are growing into the game with a cross from Melvin Mallard across the face of goal, found Jess Park unmarked, but she sent the ball over the crossbar. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0.
Jeremy Pino has just been sent through the middle. He's in acres of space inside the Wolverhampton Wanderers half after a mistake at the back. He was about 30-40 yards from goal. Goalkeeper's come a very long way, Jose Sarri. Tried to just volley the ball over the top of his head, but he completely missed the target. A little bit too casual from him. It remains Palace 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Brighton have knocked out West Ham United in the Women's FA Cup 5th round today. It's half-time between Arsenal and Bristol City, in Arsenal beating the Championship side by 1-0. Manchester City 0, Sheffield United 0 has just got underway. It's the same scoreline between Oxford and Charlton. And Liverpool against Everton is a 4:30 start this afternoon. At 3 o'clock over on TalkSport 2, we've got live Super League action. Yes, it is back. Huddersfield Giants take on Wakefield Trinity, who surprised everyone last year and then got battered last week. Matt Horton.
Yeah, round 2 of the Betfred Super League as Huddersfield take on Wakefield, with both teams looking to bounce back after going down to French opposition last week. Saints coach Paul Rowley joins me for the action, and we're underway at 3 p.m.
Looking forward to that surprise defeat for Wakefield last week at the hands of Toulouse. France take on Italy in the Six Nations at 3:10. England beat Sri Lanka by 51 runs earlier today. South Africa 37 for 3 at the T20 World Cup with 14 overs remaining. They're taking on India today. And at the final day of the Winter Games, Brad Hall's GB crew finished 7th in the 4-man bobsleigh, with Germany taking gold. South Africa's Casey Jarvis holds a narrow 1-straight lead as he searches for his first DP World Tour title at the Kenya Open. And Jacob Bridgman holds a commanding 6-shot lead over Rory McIlroy, entering the final round of the Riviera Club for the Genesis Invitational on the US PGA Tour. This is TalkSport, taking you around the grounds on a Sunday afternoon. Well, I suppose the first big story of the day has already happened at Selhurst Park, where the Palace fans have unfurled a banner which has suggested that they have had enough of Oliver Glasner because the fans, they believe, have been disrespected by the manager, and that's certainly how I think everybody interpreted his comments over the course of the last 48 hours. He's also had to go at the players, the board and everybody else. That bus that he's thrown everybody under isn't big enough to get everybody underneath it anymore, and now the suggestion is that he should go. Certainly that was a story that we brought you on Friday on our 10 till 1 show, that we believe that he was under mounting pressure and may not be in charge for the second leg of their Europa Conference League game on Thursday night. His team currently 0-0 with Wolverhampton Wanderers. On TalkSport 2 just moments ago, Sheffield United completed a victory over Sheffield Wednesday. It means that Sheffield Wednesday's stay in the Championship is over, and that is the earliest relegation ever in English football. 13 games still to play. Our summariser on TalkSport 2 was Chris Ewalumo, and he joins us now. Hi, Chris.
Good afternoon, Sam. Are you doing okay?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Better than Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, obviously they had administration, so they were deducted a load of points. 18 points eventually deducted. Inevitable that they were going to get relegated, but not great for them to be confirmed as a League One team at the home of their city rivals Sheffield United this Sunday. What next for Sheffield Wednesday, do you think?
Yeah, they'll come back bigger and stronger. You know, I think it's just all playing for pride, playing for the fans. You know, it's a fantastic football club with great history, you know, and I think it's, okay, League One, they've done it time and time again. They've not stayed there too long. They always do bounce back, and I just feel there is light at the end of the tunnel with all the politics, ownership, albeit staff, players not being paid. You know, that environment must have been very, very toxic, and I think Henrik Pedersen, the manager, I think he's been a complete class act, and hopefully he will be given the opportunity to bring this team back to where they belong.
I read a report earlier that when eventually James Board's bid to buy the club is ratified by the EFL, and they think around about April time, he will be able to take them out of administration and take control of the club, that an unnamed former Scottish footballer looks set to have a senior role. Have you got any information for us about that?
I do not. I'm sure you have the information though. Come on then.
It's not you though, is it? It's definitely not you.
I can't say anything. No, it's not me. Not me, Sam. Not me.
He signed a confidential
NDA.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He signed an NDA.
Non-disclosure agreement.
What did you make of Sheffield United's performance, though, Chris, today? Because there's a lot of talk about the possibility of them making the playoffs, but they look pretty nervy towards the end.
Yeah, well, the first half they were excellent. You know, I think it was near perfect. You know, they were dominant. They played with a purpose. The little rotations, you know, created opportunities as well. And then second half, Sheffield Wednesday came out. Albeit, and then for me, you know, that relationship with Sidney Peck and Calvin Phillips, he looked like he's not missed a game of football. And then just that split decision, that decision that he made, that challenge, I don't know if you've seen it, it was a red card in my opinion. It was high. He knew straight away as soon as he'd made it, that changed the whole dynamic of the game. This is where Sheffield Wednesday then go and get that goal, an excellent strike from I think who it was. It was McNeil. It was a wonderful strike. He's coming on off his left, fired it in near post as well, and they were all dominant. They had all the ball. They were creating opportunities, but they just couldn't capitalise and get themselves back in the game. And you've seen two sides of Sheffield United. You know, that game that was fluent, dominant with the ball, but then second half done the ugly stuff, done the hard yards, defended well, defended the area, knew that they never had to go and get that next goal to win the game. They just had to not make sure they didn't concede.
Chris, I'm just looking at Sheffield United. Obviously, only 6 points off the playoff, and anything can happen in the Championship. You know, if you win sort of 3 or 4 on the trot.
Yeah.
But they do have a discipline problem. I've just looked there. They've had 5 players sent off in the last 8 games.
Yes, it's one of those things that will be a concern for Chris Wilder. I think he has recruited very well. The quality and depth in that group is very, very strong, Perry. You know, and I think it is one of those things that they are going to have to try and nullify. They need everyone there, but they have a real chance. You know, I think they play 4 or 5 of the teams above them in at home as well in 4 of those games, and then I think 4 or 5 of the teams below them. So it's so important that they try and capitalise and maximise points. But when you're in that, when you're hunting the teams above, you have a little bit less pressure on you, especially from where they've came. But to be in this playoff conversation from where they were when Chris Wilder came in, it's been remarkable.
Chris, thank you very much. Chris was on TalkSport 2 earlier on for Sheffield Wednesday bebeing relegated at the hands of Sheffield United. 2-1, the final score in the Blades' favour. That's the last thing you want. Your city rivals relegating you in February. Sheffield United have won the last 4 derbies now, away from home in November 2025, at home in March 2025, at home in November 2024, and today as well. Not great for the blue half of the city, but let's fingers crossed that takeover goes over the line before the end of the season and they can start to rebuild next campaign. Let's go off to the City ground, because Nottingham Forest have had a couple of chances early on, but they've also given away a couple of free kicks and fouls, and Sangare's been in the thick of the action. Jeff Peters.
Yeah, it's Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0. Liverpool have been sloppy. They've given the ball away a few times in their own half. That early opportunity for Callum Hudson-Odoi, he got the other side of Szoboszlai, who is playing at right back. Wirtz getting injured in the warm-up. Jones coming in. We thought Jones would play at right back, but Szoboszlai is there. Hudson-Odoi got into a good position. Fine save from the keeper, Allison. And Anderson has hit one from the edge of the penalty area, which has fizzed just wide. We have seen a free kick for Liverpool just a few moments ago, which Forest did manage to get clear. And Forest in the early stages have looked okay, haven't they?
They've looked really good, Jeff, I have to say. Interesting, before the kick-off there was no sprinklers on the pitch, and it's really dried the pitch out, and I don't think it's helping Liverpool at all. They look a little bit shaky at the back. I do have a look at Szoboszlai playing as right back. I think that's something that Arne Slot will change. It's not working for him, and a big surprise, they just had that free kick from 22 yards out. Mo Salah dinked it towards the far post. The guy's got rocket in his boots. I can't believe Szoboszlai never took that free kick, but Forest, no doubt about it, are on top of the moment in the game.
But what's the thinking for Szoboszlai being right back when Jones does come in, obviously, okay, right at the last minute? Is it because they've already worked on shape and decided that Szoboszlai was going to play it right back?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. But the thing is, Curtis Jones would have been involved in those training sessions, so he would know the job of Szoboszlai. So it's a big surprise to me. I think it takes so much out of that midfield if Liverpool playing him in that right back position. So I certainly think it's something that Arne Slot will look at and change.
We've had almost a quarter of an hour here at the City Ground. It's Forest 0, Liverpool 0.
I've been sent a picture of the banner that was put up in the Holmesdale Road end at Selhurst Park moments before kickoff. Fans disrespected, Glasner finished in big white letters on a big bold black background. James Fielden is watching the game down at Selhurst Park. They've had a couple of skirmishes in front of the Wolverhampton Wanderers goal, but no breakfalls so far.
Yeah, it's Palace 0, Wolves 0. There was an underhit back pass by Yerson Mosquera, and it was Yeremy Pino who got onto it, and because Mosquera tried to loop it back to Sarr himself, it was bouncing, so it sat up nicely to Pino, but he sent it well off target, and then a looping right-wing corner from the right-hand side by Hughes a minute ago, dropped underneath the crossbar for Ismaila Sarr, who could maybe have forced it home, but Jose Sarr was fouled anyway, so the free kick was given. In terms of that banner, Sam, as you well know, at this stadium there is a bit of a letterbox view from the press box, so the view of the stands out on the field itself isn't the best, and actually, as you said, it did say fans disrespected, Glasner finished. There was another banner above it which read opportunities missed, bored inept. So the fans going all out today to let their feelings be known, not only about Glasner and the fact they want him out of their club as soon as possible, but also very much against the board and the running of things here, headed of course by Steve Parish. Even if he's not maybe the majority shareholder here, he's certainly the man who fronts it all, isn't he? The man we see sat next to Mark Bright in the director's box every game. But the fans not happy with anyone here at Palace at the moment, but it is they who've had both chances in the game so far and haven't scored either of them. It's Palace 0, Wolves 0.
Sunderland last beat Fulham at home in December 2017. That was in the Championship, and there's already been an early change, Paul Mitchell.
Yeah, unfortunate for Sunderland. They have lost their full-back. Norton McKelly went down with an injury after about 8 minutes. He played on for another couple of minutes, Sam, after treatment, but he's given away. Cheryl Gertruda has come on. It's a straight swap at right back. Not too much happening. Fulham have defended a couple of corners that Sunderland have earned pretty well. They've really yet to test Robin Roofs as the ball comes across. Prime example there, just launched across by Berger from right to left, runs out for a throw-in at the Stadium of Light. Little happening. Sunderland 0, Fulham 0.
Half-time in the Women's FA Cup 5th round. Angelina Kelly.
It's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. An impressive first half for both sides for different reasons. Chelsea have been knocking at the door, dominating possession. Alyssa Thompson and Lauren James in particular, both forcing Fallon Tullis-Joyce into making some massive saves. United's defence have been stellar, putting in a real shift. They've had the odd chance with Melvin Mallard looking good down the left-hand channel. But with only 3 experienced players on their bench, this Man United 11 are going to have to produce more in the second half. Half-time, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0.
Cheers, Angelina. Thank you very much. We'll keep you updated with all the scorelines from the Women's FA Cup 5th round and everywhere else as well. We'll be taking you back around the grounds in the Premier League very shortly. It's Forest 0, Liverpool 0, Palace 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Sunderland 0, Fulham 0, and you're locked into TalkSport.
Sunday Game Day Live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Mr. Q. At Mr. Q, we tell it how it is. When players win, they love Q. Like a Portuguese prima donna loves polishing a statue of himself. But when players lose, they hate Q. Like a last-minute VAR controversy. Mr. Q, the casino you love to hate. And you'll love 100 free spins on Big Bass Splash with your first deposit. Play at mrq.com or on the app. UK 18 plus residents only. Minimum £10 first deposit. 10p per spin. Free spins must be used within 48 hours of depositing. All winnings paid in cash. T's and C's apply. Play safely.
Wrong tool for the job? Don't make that mistake with your van. Get up to 30% off selected new Toyota vans and pickups with a warranty up to 10 years or 100,000 miles with every qualifying routine service. Visit your nearest Toyota centre or visit toyota.co.uk/van savings for more details. Savings on selected vans and pickups ordered by the 31st of March 2026. UK residents, see toyota.co.uk for full details. T's and C's apply.
Welcome to Paris Pizzeria. Your blind date is already at the table, and there she is. Cousin Brenda, what are you doing here? You're married anyway.
Substitution brought to you by Paddy Power. Cousin Brenda makes way for Beth, the office crush.
Oh, get in! You might not always pick the right starter, but your sub can still deliver. Because with Paddy's Super Sub, your bet rolls over to the player coming on. Paddy Power.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Pre-match and in-play bets on qualifying player outcome selections only. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Sunday Game Day Live on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now. Like Spurs versus Arsenal live today. Search Now Sports. 18+, stream via internet. Terms apply.
It's a Thursday night triple on the TalkSport network. From 5:45, Stuttgart face Celtic on TalkSport 2. Then at 8, Forest face Fenerbahce on TalkSport, while Palace take on Zrinski on TalkSport 2. It's a 3-for-1 Thursday night of live football on the TalkSport network. Juicy.
You're listening to Game Day Live on TalkSport with me, Sam Matterface. Across the sporting world today, Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0, but it's a really spicy, competitive first 20 minutes in that game. Crystal Palace 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Sunderland 0, Fulham 0. Tottenham Hotspur against Arsenal kicks off at 4:30. Sheffield United have relegated Sheffield Wednesday today. Celtic, Hibernian and Livingston Rangers are two of the top three in action in the Scottish Premiership from 3 o'clock this afternoon. In the Women's FA Cup 5th round, Brighton have knocked out West Ham United. Arsenal are 2-0 up against Bristol City. That kicked off at 1 o'clock. Chelsea 0-0 with Manchester United at half-time. Manchester City 2-0 up against Sheffield United. That also a 2 o'clock kickoff. Huddersfield, Oxford United 0, Charlton 0. Liverpool against Everton kicks off at 4:30. And Super League is on TalkSport 2 from 3 o'clock when Huddersfield Giants take on Wakefield Trinity. France, Italy in the Six Nations at 3:10. South Africa 75-3 in the Men's T20 World Cup with 10 overs remaining. And we're going to have a look at the latest odds, all thanks to Betfair.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18+, gambleaware.org.
And it's currently Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0, and Forest 9-4 to go on and win the game. The draw is 5-2, Liverpool 11-10. Crystal Palace 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. 6-5 on for Palace to win that game. The draw is 5-2 and Wolves are 16-5. Sunderland 0, Fulham 0. Sunderland 15-8. The draw is 2-1 and Fulham are 6-4. That's all thanks to Betfair. 18+, be gambleaware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Bit of a half chance for Arakadare in the game at Selhurst Park. Let's go off to the City Ground, and TalkSport's Jeff Peters is there alongside Mickey Gray.
It's Forest 0, Liverpool 0 midway inside the first half, and Forest once again on the front foot looking to stretch the play, and they have done with Morgan Gibbs-White out on the right hand side. What a ball in to the 6-yard box, and it's cleared away by Liverpool. And it's Forest still on the front foot, Mickey.
Well, Vitor Pereira is applauding his players because I think he's been very happy with what he's seen in the first 22 minutes of this game. They're getting in behind Liverpool's two full-backs, too easy for my liking, and that is it's a problem for them because Szoboszlai needs to play in that midfield area because there's no guy for Liverpool at all. But take nothing away, Forest have been excellent. They're on the front foot, they're trying to get themselves in front, they're creating chances. It's a perfect start for them so far.
And they've got a long throw-in into the penalty area from Ola Aina. It's only half cleared away. It might be hit by Williams left-footed. It is, and it's high over the bar. We have seen a cheap booking in the early knockings of the first half for Morgan Gibbs-White. What was he thinking?
Yeah, look, he was running away from the ball, and when I initially saw it, I thought it was a petty and silly yellow card from the referee today, it was Anthony Taylor, but he did poke his right leg out and tried to stop the ball going forward. So, look, it's silly. He shouldn't have done it. Now he's got to be careful.
Yeah, inside his own half, well inside the first half.
Yeah, they're going nowhere, and that's why it's so silly, because he's a tenacious player, Gibbs-White, and he will get involved when it comes to challenges and things, so he has to be careful now.
It's Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0.
Yeah, and he got booked for delaying the restart, didn't he? And it was unnecessarily so. Mickey, just to ask you a quick question on the way that they've set up here, Nottingham Forest. What can you see differently in terms of the tactical approach from the Sean Dyche era to the Vitor Pereira era?
Well, I tell you what, Sam, I'll take you further back to Nuno Espirito Santo when he was here, and they kept the two wide players further up the pitch. And there's no trying to play through midfield. If there's a chance to get over the back of Liverpool's defenders, they're doing it. It's front foot football. They're using the pace of Hutchinson and Hudson-Odoi, and at the moment it's working for them, Sam, because the two Liverpool fullbacks, they're trying to get forward but they can't get out. And again, as we're speaking, Sam, I've never seen Liverpool give the ball away as much in the first 20 minutes than I have done today. They've been really poor.
Yeah, they haven't had a great record against Nottingham Forest recently. Forest unbeaten in the last 3 against Liverpool, their best run against them since 1962-63. There's a little bit more energy about them, Perry Groves.
You can just tell that Vitor Pereira has released the hounds, because it's been documented that the Nottingham Forest players had the meeting with Marinakis, didn't they? And they said they didn't like the way that Sean Dyche was setting them up, which I think is a bit dangerous for player power. But if you're the likes of Omari Hutchinson, obviously you mentioned Gibbs White and Hudson-Odoi, with Igor Jesus up front, you can tell that Forest, Sam, are playing probably 10-15 yards further up the pitch when the opposition have the ball. So the crowd will get behind the players. So Liverpool haven't been able to get in any rhythm whatsoever. So they just look like they're enjoying their football now, while they probably wasn't under Sean Dyche.
Let's go off to the game at Selhurst Park. Should Will Hughes still be on the pitch, James Fielden?
Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0. Great question, though. Booked for a late challenge in the middle of the park after 15 minutes, and here with 25 gone now, the ball was there to be chased down the left-hand channel, and Mosquera got there first and tipped it away, and Hughes caught him, and Mosquera's made a meal of it, but the referee sees it as a foul. It was a late challenge. You do wonder, had he not been yellow carded already, whether he would have gone into the book. But things are starting to liven up here now. Wolves starting to make a number of mistakes which are nearly costing them, but they have had a couple of chances at the other end. Mateus Mane curled one in from the left-hand side. It was nodded down by Bellegarde. An easy pick-up for Dean Henderson, but that first shot on target for Wolves inside the opening 20 minutes, the first time they've done that in the match since January against Bournemouth. And then a corner for Wolves curled in from the right-hand side a few minutes back onto the 6-yard line, where it was met by the head of 6'7" Tolu Arokodare, but by the thigh of Yerson Mosquera it dropped a couple of yards wide. Things are starting to liven up here, though. So Mosquera plays the ball forward into Arokodare, who curls one towards goal, but again Henderson with an easy take. But the Palace fans just a bit nervy every time it's a sideways or a backwards pass, but maybe they could be a bit more positive and go forward. The fans getting on their backs here, but still no breakthrough with 25 minutes gone. It's Palace 0, Wolves 0.
Wolves have done brilliantly to sort of make themselves competitive, really, because at the start of the season, under Vitor Pereira, who seems to now have a plum job at Nottingham Forest, they were absolutely on their feet. They looked like they were going to go down with no points whatsoever, but they look a different outfit now under Rob Edwards, don't they?
Do you know what he's done? He's brought the pride and the passion back. Sam, I was at the Wolves-Newcastle game. Newcastle were poor away from home at the time, but you could tell they were miles more disciplined. They had more good team shape. We saw against Arsenal, obviously with their team shape, even when it had like a 5-4-1 formation, but the distance between the 5 and the midfield was really good. They're all working, and they do have a goal threat. Obviously they've signed Adam Armstrong with due to next season, obviously, because they're going to be in a championship, and he scores goals for fun in the championship. But I think with Wolves fans, and we'll see the Crystal Palace fans, right, as a fan, Sam, all you want is your team to run around and make an effort and give it 100% application.
Well, they're certainly doing that, Wolverhampton Wanderers. 3 shots, 2 on target. Crystal Palace have had 1 shot, nothing on target so far. They've played 27 minutes. If anybody needed any extra evidence that things are drifting under Oliver Glasner, then that probably is it. Let's go off to the Stadium of Light. Paul Mitchell is watching Sunderland against Fulham.
There is Sunderland 0, Fulham 0. Sunderland with a fair bit of possession, trying to push forward, but they're losing the ball too easily, and Fulham are getting forward. They've had 2 chances in the last 5 minutes or so. Kevin was played through on the left hand side, cut inside, got a shot right across the goalkeeper. It curled well away, and just a couple of minutes ago Ryan Sessegnon played beautifully inside the box. He stepped inside the defender, curled it looking for the top corner, but didn't get the shot on target. So Sunderland with plenty of the ball, Fulham with plenty of the chances. It's Sunderland 0, Fulham 0.
This is Talk Sport, and earlier on Talk Sport 2, the Still City derby took place at lunchtime today, and fresh from relegating their arch rival Sheffield Wednesday, the Sheffield United boss Chris Wilder has been speaking to our reporter Alan Biggs and gave us his verdict on their opponents.
To go out every game and give it a go as they have done, and I've seen them, we've watched them against Millwall, against loads of teams. They blow themselves up after 70 minutes, and that's not the manager's fault and that's not the players' fault. They're just incredibly undercooked. No senior players in a relentless championship. Young kids coming in. without getting caught up too much in it, you know, we all understand when they were relegated, really, and it wasn't today, it wasn't in December, it was basically before a ball was kicked, and that's what happens in football if you don't get it right off the pitch. So I have sympathy for Emric and his staff, that after, I know when we lose a game how we have to pick everybody up, so he's had to pick everybody up every week for a long period.
Well, that's Chris Wilder, and actually the last thing you probably want if you're a Sheffield Wednesday fan is sympathy from Chris Wilder, because he's the biggest blade that there is in Sheffield, probably. But I think it just sort of gives you an indication as to the depth of feeling that everyone in football's got for Sheffield Wednesday, who have gone through the mill without anything being their fault. It's all down to the owner, Delphan Chancerai, his responsibility for dragging them through the mud and getting them relegated. We'll hear from the Wednesday boss, Henrik Pedersen, shortly.
Do you know what? He said what a rogue owner can do to a football club. We've seen a few of them. That's why a lot of the administration rules were put in, wasn't it, to try and stop these sort of owners just taking the heart and soul out of football club. And to be fair to Chris Wilder there, Tam, he wasn't being patronising, right?
Wasn't,
because he's obviously Sheffield United through and through. But
he's a football man.
He wants to see Sheffield thrive as a football hub. And Sheffield United fans, they're not going to take any great pleasure in Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously, they don't want to do well, but they want to play.
They might do today, but actually they want to play them on a regular basis.
I don't think they will. I think they'll be thinking, right, we want you actually to come back up from League One, get your club sorted out, get new owners in that actually want the club to do well and have the right sort of ethos, because they want Sheffield to thrive, because they are two massive football clubs. And I thought it was a very good interview there from Chris Wilder, because he was generally sad, and he just said it about how good the younger players have been, and Henrik Pedersen as well, because basically you're playing a development team in the Championship.
Why are you sitting on two chairs?
It's brutal. No, you might have called me two chairs Groves.
Why are you sitting on two chairs?
Just get a little bit of elevation, so you get a better view of the pitch, can't you? Do you know what I mean?
It's freaking me out. You're just looking down at me. We're at the North London Derby, the wonderful Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is just getting ready for the big kickoff at 4:30 this afternoon. The temporary goals are coming out, so the goalkeepers can warm up. Opposite us in the Sky Bar, there's people milling around enjoying the hospitality, because they've got a few hours of decent food and drink before they come out and come into the stadium. Away to our right, all the stewards are just walking down the gangways and making sure everything's clear, and the first few supporters just starting to drift into the ground as well. We kick off in 2 hours time on Game Day Live on TalkSport with Sky Sports, and don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Spurs versus Arsenal live today. Search Now Sports. Next, we're back around the grounds in the Premier League. Forest 0, Liverpool 0, Palace 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Sunderland 0, Fulham 0.
Sunday Game Day Live on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now, like Spurs versus Arsenal live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Nobody knows Vegas like BetMGM, and we know just how loud it can get. So sometimes it's important to turn it down or take a break. Because a little pause keeps the fun in play. To find out more about BetMGM's safer gambling tools and how we can support you to keep your play safe, visit the safer gambling area of our app or website. BetMGM. 18 plus, please gamble responsibly.
The way you eat your cream egg says everything about you. Like Helen from Truro, who admitted to us that she eats her cream egg baked in a brownie, which suggests she's always thinking of others. She initiates the singing of Happy Birthday in the office, says sorry when she bumps into furniture, and she always lets people know if their label is sticking out. If you admit how you eat your cream egg, you could win 10k. Simply buy a cream egg and search Admit How You Eat Yours. 18 plus, ends 5th of April 2026. Keep receipt. Full T's and C's, cadbury.co.uk.
For years, petrol set the benchmark. Hybrids cost more. Efficiency paid extra. Today, BYD reset the benchmark. Electric intelligence costs less than petrol. Advanced technology, real efficiency, no compromises. The BYD Sea Lion 5 DMI Super Hybrid SUV from just $29,995. Find out more and book your test drive at byd.com/UK.
This season, LiveScoreBet is bringing you more ways to win with our weekly promotions. No goal? No problem. VAR payout to the rescue. 2 goals ahead? Cha-ching. Rest easy and enjoy the game courtesy of 2UP. Celebrate every goal, every twist and every turn this season with LiveScoreBet, bringing you more ways to win. LiveScoreBet. Total betting. Eligible leagues and markets vary. Full T&Cs apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Sunday Game Day Live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Previously on White and Jordan.
But you can be damn sure now that the media are going to make a clarion call. The Premier League should investigate it.
Comments, conflict and confrontation. This is the job of the media.
No, it's not. The job of the media is to report news, not make news, Jim.
Disagree to disagree.
Right. Absolutely right.
Jim White and Simon Jordan continues tomorrow morning from 10.
Cause mayhem for no particular reason.
What do you mean mayhem?
On TalkSport.
And Simon will be back tomorrow alongside Martin Keown. I'm very much looking forward to hosting that show tomorrow between 10 and 1. You're listening right now to Game Day Live on TalkSport with me, Sam Matterface. Across the sporting world today, it's Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, but Crystal Palace have just hit the woodwork. Sunderland 0, Fulham 0, Tottenham against Arsenal kicks off at 4:30. Sheffield United have relegated Sheffield Wednesday. They beat them 2-1 at Bramall Lane. And Henrik Pedersen is going to speak to us very shortly. In the Women's FA Cup, Brighton have knocked out West Ham. Arsenal are 3-0 up against Bristol City in a game that kicked off at 1 o'clock. That's nearly finished. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. Manchester City 3, Sheffield United 0. That kicked off at 2 o'clock. Oxford 0, Charlton 0. Liverpool against Everton 4:30 today. And in the men's T20 World Cup, South Africa 105 for 3 with 8 overs remaining against India. Let's go off to that game at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and a big chance for Jeremy Pino, James Fielden.
Yeah, the biggest chance either side had so far. Palace 0, Wolves 0. It was a low Palace corner from the right-hand side, and there were groans around me here because they thought it was another under-hit one in, but it's actually beautifully worked into Wharton, who set it back to Pino, who held his position on the edge of the box where no Wolves players were, and his low effort rattled the foot of the post. And then before that as well, there was a free kick for Wolves on the edge of the box, just left of centre. Bellegarde bent it towards the far right bottom corner. It was pushed away comfortably by Henderson, but from the resulting corner, crossed in from the right-hand side, and Mosquera threw himself at it, unmarked as he ran from the edge of the box, and only just sent his header off target. So opportunities at both ends, but Palace will be very disappointed they haven't taken the lead after a really well-worked set play, after they spotted a gap in the way Wolves set up from corners, but no way through yet for either side as Wolves come through here with Bellegarde, who hits an effort, deflected all, and just tipped over the top by Henderson. It was spinning there and dipping right at the last, made it awkward for Henderson, who was backpedaling towards his own goal, just over the top, and it's a Wolves corner. But we played 37 minutes and it's Crystal Palace 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0.
And when you look at the game, Perry Groves, and we've got it on here, it looks as if there's two teams here that lack a little bit of quality in the final third.
Yeah, but creativity, actually the pace of the game looks a bit like seems like a bit of pre-season game, doesn't it? There's no energy from Palace on the closing down side when they're out of possession. Wolves are keeping possession, saying when it gets to probably 30 yards out, there's a little bit of lack of imagination. It was unlucky actually though, the set piece coach for Palace ain't going to be getting his bonus at the minute, is because it was brilliantly worked, wasn't it, from Adam Wharton. Great little layoff to Pino, and it looked like Sarr actually might get a little touch with his left foot, couldn't quite get an Inspector Gadget leg extended out, hit the post, come back out again.
Yeah, but a little bit lucky with that Bellegarde effort from the edge of the penalty area, which took a deflection off Chris Richards, looped up high, and it was flicked over the top by Dean Henderson. Just before that, Chadi Riyad committed what was a bit of a naughty foul actually, and probably should have been penalised for that, but they got the corner, and they're on the attack again, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Let's go off to the City ground. TalkSport's Mickey Gray and Jeff Peters are watching.
7 minutes to the break, it's Forest 0, Liverpool 0, and we talked early on when Wirtz was injured in the warm-up and Jones came in, we thought that Jones would play at right back, but Szoboszlai started at right back. The referee has just given a free kick against Forest, which you can probably hear the fans are not overly happy about over on that right-hand side. It's come just a few moments after Forest had a huge opportunity with Jesus going into the penalty area, Van Dijk dispossessing as he went through, But we saw Szoboszlai now is playing in a more forward position. He played the ball out wide to Salah on the right, but Salah's cross was too strong. And really, Salah hasn't got going in this game. Well, Liverpool haven't really got going in this game.
Well, Jet, they had to make that change because this has been as bad as I've seen Liverpool play for 45 minutes in the first half. They've just not got going at all. They've had one touch in Nottingham Forest's 18-yard area. Nottingham Forest have had 7 or 8, and they've had 4 or 5 really good opportunities. That chance you just talked about there with Jesus, it's Virgil van Dijk, and it's a last-ditch challenge to stop Forest going in the lead because they've been excellent in this first half, just waiting for that clear-cut opportunity. But footballing-wise, they're playing Liverpool off the park.
Sangare kind of making things tick in the middle for Nottingham Forest, but when you look at a player like Mo Salah, obviously he's not scored as many goals as he'd want to recently. He is creating, but every time he gets the ball, he seems to be looking more backwards than going forwards. But it's Forest who are coming forwards here with Hutchinson, who whips it to the near post, and Alisson is there to push it over the bar.
No, it's incredible, isn't it? We just talked about it before kick-off. Liverpool have had a break before they played this game. The last game they played was against Brighton. It's like they've been on holiday, they've been on a beach and they've came back and they've just switched on. Well, they haven't switched on at all. They are not at the races in this first half, and Arne Slot has got his work to do in the second 45 minutes because Forest have been excellent.
And some eyebrows were raised, Forest naming the same team that played on Thursday away in Turkey. Listen, they did brilliantly, they won the game 3-0, they played fantastically well, but asking them the full 11 to do the same thing once again. They've got a corner here, Forest, by the way. It's swung towards the far post. It's headed up into the air by Igor Jesus. But so far, it's Forest who are the team who have done most of the attacking, have looked particularly threatening, and have had Liverpool on the back foot. 4 minutes to go until half-time. It's Forest 0, Liverpool 0.
Liverpool been off it so far. Let's go off to Selhurst Park. There's a penalty for James Fielden.
Penalty Wolves, we've got 5 to go until half-time. Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0, but suddenly Wolves are in business going forward. They had 4 breaking forward, Palace only 3 back. It was Mosquera who carried the fight upfield initially. He was challenged from behind by Pino. That could have been a foul and possible red card for denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, but the ball came through to Mateus Mane, and he was taken down from behind by Wharton. And the referee, after giving himself a few moments to think about there, Tom Kirk, only his 3rd Premier League game of his career today, pointed to the spot in front of the Homesdale, and Wolverhampton Wanderers have a penalty and a chance here, from 12 yards. I'm interested to see who takes this. The only penalty they've scored so far this season was through Hwang Hee-chan. They're hyping up a VAR check here with some weird sound effect in the background here at Selhurst Park. They're getting a bit carried away with themselves, but Wolves are going to have a penalty. I'm sure this is going to be the case here, and the referee has confirmed it. Does point to the spot, and Henderson told to retreat here. So Wolves will have a chance to take the lead. Goals have been a problem, of course, for them this season. Away from home, they're winless, and they've only scored 5 goals all season long. Tolu Arokodare, who scored twice in the league so far since joining Wolves from Belgian football, where he was the top scorer in the Jupiler League last season, is going to have a chance here to put Rob Edwards' side in front. Rob Edwards back at one of his former playing clubs, of course, in Palace, where he came on loan from Villa way back in his youth career. A chance for his side here through Arokodare, who steps up now. He's saved by Henderson. Awful penalty as he rolled it low to the goalkeeper's left, and Henderson looks up to the fans behind the goal, pats his shirt and says, "Look, I'm the keeper, I'm the man." What a save that was. It's still Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0. Arokodare missing his penalty. That was shocking.
Captain Hans-tastic. Dean Henderson wearing the captain's armband and making the save from the spot. Arokodare placing the ball down. He had to wait a long while before he took the penalty in front of the Homesdale Road end. He stepped up, right-footed. Henderson chose the right way. It was a poor penalty down to the goalkeeper's left, and it was well saved by Dean Henderson. Perry Groves.
Do you know what? He absolutely telegraphed Arokodare where he was going to put that, because he's run up, Sam, what is it, like 2.5, 3 steps? So it's like one of those casual run-ups, and because of the angle of his body, Henderson knows that he's going to try and go to Henderson's left, because there's no other way, unless he's got like triple jointed knees, that he's going to have to whip it back across his body. Just a very, very slack penalty. You can just say, by the way, brilliant refereeing from Thomas Kirk, the referee.
Yeah.
Just to let it go initially, played advantage brilliantly.
Because Jeremy Pino could have been in trouble, actually, if he had decided to blow his whistle.
Yeah, because it was a foul. Pino gave the ball away initially, and it was a foul from Pino, but Thomas Kirk, the referee, he gave
himself... who was going forward, and it came through to Mane, and then he was fouled by Wharton, wasn't for the penalty.
But Thomas Kirk, the referee, he gave himself that sort of second and a half just to see what was going to transpire. Let it go. Adam Wharton gave away the penalty on Mane. Adam Wharton just looks a little bit off it because he gave the ball away on Thursday night for the goal. Exactly, yeah. So, when you like a culture that's creeping in, and I'm a massive fan of Adam Wharton. When you see him play, he's very casual and he lends it. You can just tell he's just had a little dip in form.
By the way, Wolverhampton Wanderers the only side in the top 4 tiers without an away win. Missing penalties like that ain't going to help. Let's go off to the Stadium of Light. Paul Mitchell.
Well, the only thing I've noted apart from the scoreline, which is Sunderland 0, Fulham 0, is the fact that we've had 3 players substituted due to injury. The last one, Jocelyn Tabby, Romain Mandel came on for him after 38 minutes, and Fulham have just lost Kevin. He's hurt. He's being carried off down the tunnel, supported either side. In fact, he's going to make a brief pit stop by the dugout. So when you've had a match that's going to have more additional minutes than chances, it probably tells you all you need to know. We do have, though, a shot on target. Noah Siddiqui, a 25-yarder after 40 minutes, but an easy take for Ben Leno. There's a little whiff of end of season about this. Shouldn't be the case. Hopefully more to come. Sunderland 0, Fulham 0.
And off to the Women's FA Cup 5th round. Any sign of a breakthrough at Kings Meadow, Angelina Kelly?
Absolutely not. It's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. The second half underway, of course, as Chelsea did make a half-time change. After being subbed up at half-time last weekend, Sandy Baltimore has come onto the pitch this time around at the break, replacing Joanna Wright in Cambridge, meaning that Sonia Bonpastor's side will be able to be a little bit more flexible with the side shape. The Blues, like in the first half, have definitely seen more of the ball, but Man United have had their chances. Chelsea's Tioka Nusken's foot blocking a shot from Lisa Nilsson, which otherwise looked like it was heading in. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0.
Back with Angelina very shortly, and back around our Premier League grounds where it's just about to hit half-time. Forest 0, Liverpool 0, Palace 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Wolves have missed the penalty, and Sunderland 0, Fulham 0.
Sunday Game Day Live on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
And when teams feel supported, they can achieve anything.
Sorry, just had even more of my team are off ill.
Have you tried Benenden Health? It's easy to set up. They've got a GP helpline you can book 24/7.
Where were we?
A coffee break, hopefully.
Press play on your people's health with a wide range of healthcare services for less than £16 per employee per month. Search Benenden for business. Fee review periodically. T's and C's apply. Qualifying periods apply for some services. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
He's having a blinder. He's clipped the post. He's looking formidable. Then... substitution. His game might be over, but yours isn't. With Betfair's Safe Sub, your bet simply rolls onto the player coming on. Playing a different league with Betfair.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Applies to singles, multiples and bet builder bets on qualified player outcome selections. Does not apply to odds boost. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Do you belong here? Next to me, about to jump into the sea on an army coast-steering expedition. What's your gut saying? Walk away from the edge? Or jump in and join a team that'll be by your side for life? Still listening? You belong here. Army, recruiting now. Search Army Jobs.
Sunday Game Day Live on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now. Like Spurs versus Arsenal live today. Search Now Sports. 18+. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Football in motion. Super cool, super quick Sunday Game Day Live.
It is Game Day Live on TalkSport with me, Sam Matterface, across the sporting world today. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Sunderland 0, Fulham 0, Tottenham against Arsenal, 4:30 kickoff. We'll have team news in around about 20 minutes' time. Sheffield United beat Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship. Wednesday relegated to League One. Celtic, Hibernian and Livingston Rangers about to kick off in the Scottish Premiership. Hearts winning yesterday. Brighton have knocked out West Ham of the Women's FA Cup. Arsenal about to do the same to Bristol City. Still goalless between Chelsea and Manchester United. Manchester City 3-0 up against Sheffield United. They've just reached half-time there. Oxford 0, Charlton 0. They're just getting to half-time, and Liverpool-Everton later on today. In a few minutes over on TalkSport 2, you'll be able to hear Huddersfield Giants against Wakefield Trinity in the Super League. And in the T20 Men's World Cup, South Africa 133 for 4 with 6 overs remaining against India. Half-time at the City Ground. Here's Jeff Peters.
It's Forest 0, Liverpool 0. Forest dominant, even though they're playing the same 11 which won in Turkey on Thursday night. Liverpool, with an 8-day break, have really struggled. Callum Hudson-Odoi with a big early chance, breaking into the area. Alisson made the save. Igor Jesus looked nailed on to give them the lead later on in the half. Magnificent reading of the game from Virgil van Dijk. Timed his interception to absolute perfection. Sangare and Anderson central have bossed things. 11 shots, 12 shots actually, 2 on target for Forest. 2 shots, neither on target for Liverpool. Yes, they lost Wirtz to injury in the warm-up, but that shouldn't really have affected them too much. Arne Slot needs to say or do something to get them going, Mickey Gray.
Well, a world-class save has kept it at 0-0 for Liverpool from Alisson. When Hudson-Odoi went through, he should actually score. He's got more time in his hands than he thinks. He's just got to try and poke it underneath the goalkeeper, but fair play to Alisson. I mean, he's made himself big and it's an outstanding save. But they've been excellent for 45 minutes, Nottingham Forest. They've dominated the game. They've got themselves into good areas. They've created good chances. And they just look as if they've got a bit of confidence about them. Whereas Liverpool, it's a bit lacklustre. It's a bit slow, lethargic, playing out from the back, getting caught on the ball, giving the ball away. They've got nothing going. They had to change the style they were playing. Szoboszlai's now gone into midfield. Didn't really get going when he actually went into that midfield area. And Arne Slot's got a lot of work to do in this second 45 minutes. But at the moment, Nottingham Forest, confidence is high. All they need is a goal.
Well, Liverpool have only won once in their last 15 league visits here. It's an incredible stat. That doesn't look like changing at the moment. Half-time, Forest 0, Liverpool 0.
Mickey Gray, Wayne Rooney, I think, said in the last week or so that Arne Slot lacks the aura to be the Liverpool boss. Is that a fair criticism?
Well, Sam, there was a really interesting moment in the game where I've never seen it before, where Alisson actually ran across to the manager, Arne Slot, and told him to change the system. Now, a goalkeeper telling a manager that, a manager would push them away and say, look, I'll sort this side of things out. I'm the coach. I'll sort things out. But from that's when Szoboszlai came into midfield, and that's when Curtis Jones went to the right-back position. They just couldn't get out. So, yeah, authority-wise, I don't know. Look, he got a team last season that were flying high. They were full of confidence. They went on to win the Premier League, obviously. He went out and spent an absolute fortune in the summer this time around. But I don't see it, Sam. Last week, when I watched them at Brighton, they played very well, actually. But Mo Salah today, he's touched the ball about 5 times. He's given it away 4 times. He's been terrible. He's not the only one as well. They've just not got going at all.
Back with Mickey Gray and Jeff Peters when they get restarted for the second half. It's half-time at Selhurst Park, James Fielden.
Yeah, Crystal Palace 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, but it really should be 1-0 to the away side. They missed the biggest chance of the first half. A penalty given after Mateus Mane was fouled in the box by Adam Wharton. Tolu Arokodare stepped up to it. And interestingly, Sam, looking at his penalty stats from previous, throughout his career, he's had 9 penalties before today. He scored 5, but missed 4 as well. So interesting whether Adam Armstrong would have fancied taking that one. But he stepped up and really showed the goalkeeper what he was going to do. No real swagger to his run-up and just rolled it in towards the corner, and goalkeeper Henderson managed to make the save. Palace at the other end haven't had a shot on target, but they have hit the post. A corner played in from the right-hand side, touched back by Wharton on the edge of the 6-yard box to Pino, who was free on the edge of the 18, and his low effort hit the woodwork and came back out again. Palace have had 6 attempts in this first half without troubling Jose Sarr, the goalkeeper. Wolves' attacking output by their season standards has been pretty good, but as ever, goals elusive for them, and so far no breakthrough for either side. Remember that banner that was unfurled by the Palace fans ahead of this game, calling for Glasner to go. Glasner finished, it said. Board inept, it said. Fans not happy and not too enthused as the half-time whistle went here either. Nothing to separate these two sides. Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0.
Not seen much from the former Wolves striker Jørgen Strand Larsen today either. 1 in 22 for Wolves, 2 in 180 minutes in the Premier League for Crystal Palace. The last player to score for and against the same team, Henrik Mkhitaryan in 2017 18. I wonder if Strand Larsen can just up it in the second 45. And on Arakadara and his penalty stats, let me tell you this, he won't be taking the next one. Here's Paul Mitchell at the Stadium of Light, where it's also half-time.
It is, with 7 minutes of additional time, largely due to the fact that 3 players went off injured in that first half. Kevin for Fulham went off, Michele also one of the casualties. It's just been a real problem. Jocelyn Tamai was the other one as well. It's the kind of game it's not really got started. There's been a couple of moments where you think the chances might come. Sessegnon and Kevin both had a couple of opportunities nipping into the penalty area, but didn't test Robin Roos in goal. He's got the second best save ratio in the Premier League this season. He's barely had a thing to do. At the other end, former Arsenal goalkeeper Ben Leno has had the one shot to save. It came straight at him from Noah Siddiqui, 25 yards out after 40 minutes. Fairly simple stuff. I'll make a bold prediction. The second half will be way better than the first. It's half-time. Sunderland 0, Fulham 0.
Let's get the latest odds from Betfair.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
It's currently half-time. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0. Forest 9-4 to go on and win the game. The draw is 7-4, and Liverpool to get a victory. And they haven't been great in the first half, 6-4, but they must be better in the second half, you would have thought. Crystal Palace survived a big scare. Wolverhampton Wanderers had a penalty but missed it. It's still 0-0. Palace 11-8 to win the game. The draw is 11-8, and Wolves is 3-1 to win the match. Sunderland 0, Fulham 0, 9-4 for Sunderland to complete a victory. The draw is 6-4. Fulham 7-4 to win the game away from home. And that odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. It's over 18s only and conditions apply. Go to gambleaware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
A lot of the TV companies doing their half-time roundup, probably with an asterisk at the bottom that says first half highlights. There won't be many of those. It's 0-0 in all of the games that we are covering. But tomorrow morning, once things have settled down and the dust has settled over what will, I'm sure, be a fantastic rest of the afternoon, Ali McCoist will be on air from 6 a.m. tomorrow morning on TalkSport's Superstar Breakfast. He'll have the 9-time major trophy winner and Arsenal invincible Ray Parlour alongside him tomorrow morning. They'll react to the North London derby and the rest of the weekend's football. The guys will also be joined by several top guests on the show, including the former England rugby head coach Eddie Jones, who joins them tomorrow as well. He'll give his thoughts on where England went wrong in their Six Nations defeat against Ireland yesterday. It was pretty catastrophic, wasn't it? So make sure you don't miss TalkSport Breakfast tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. when you wake up. Ali McCoist and Ray Parlour. Let's head off to the game at Kingsmeadow. Chelsea against Manchester United. Angelina Kelly, you're in for a long afternoon, aren't you?
It looks like I am, Sam. It's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. Still a stalemate here at Kingsmeadow. United Jess Park, she's just had the chance of the game, though, with a phenomenal strike from the edge of the 18-yard box on the right-hand side. It cracked off the far post. She's already scored 2 goals this week in the exact same fashion, and with millimetres away from taking the lead here today. Man United have just made a double change with Simi Awuko and Elizabeth Turland coming on for Julia Ziggiotti and Ellen Vangerheimer. But as it stands, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0.
And just remind us, Angelina, of what happens in the Women's FA Cup if it finishes all square at the end of the game.
So if it is drawn at full time, there will be 30 minutes of extra time and possibly penalties to decide which team will progress to the next round of the competition.
OK, so you could well be in for a very long afternoon. OK, stay there then. Total sympathy to the Owls and the players of Sheffield Wednesday, says Simon Olden, who's a Blades fan. Chris Wilder bang on when he spoke to you earlier on. Been there and felt the pain. Let's hear from Henrik Pedersen, because Sheffield Wednesday's championship fate was sealed at the hands of their bitter rival Sheffield United earlier today. And the boss, Henrik Pedersen, has reflected on both the result and the confirmation of the relegation. Here's what he said when he was speaking to our colleague, Alan Biggs.
Of course, I'm sad. The relegation is painful. That a club like us, we have to be relegated in February. If we think on the game, it's difficult to get yourself so at the beginning of the game. Then the mountain's going to be very, very big to climb. But again, as the boys have shown many times before, they really, really try to put all in the duels. And we also have good possibilities, but we was not good enough to create enough in this part, and then in the end, you have some transition against us.
This is a very low ebb for Sheffield Wednesday Football Club. How do you see the future from here? There's so much uncertainty behind the scenes. Who's going to be owner of the club? Are you any clearer on that? And do you have a view on the future going forward from this?
So in the big picture, I'm very, very sure that the future will be bright for Sheffield Wednesday. In the big picture.
Well, let's hope that is the case. That was Henrik Pedersen hoping that the future will be bright in the future for Sheffield Wednesday. Our fingers crossed for them and for him. We've got a huge North London derby to look forward to later this afternoon. Our reporter Harry Durham actually is outside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. He's sampling the atmosphere, soaking it all up pre-match. Afternoon, Harry.
Sam, thank you very much. I'm with Ben, the Spurs fan, outside of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Ben, the new era, Igor Tudor. How are you feeling, my friend?
A bit nervy. I think 90 minutes of football ahead. I think anything will happen, and that's what gives us the best chance ever this season. I think I was here, the last game Spurs won, Palace, I was there for, so I'm their lucky omen, and we're going to take the points today.
Take the points? Yeah. Is that going to be 1 point or is that going to be 3 points? I heard a bit of plural in there.
Yeah, let's take the 3 points, you know. Get them, they're shaky.
Do you really think you're going to put a dent in their title hopes today?
Yeah, 100%, yeah. Why not?
Where do you need to get out of them? Where are you spotting Arsenal's weaknesses on the pitch?
I think be more direct. I think they, stop playing it out from the back a bit more, go direct. And what we didn't do in the first leg, if you want, at the Emirates, get stuck in more, have a bit more of a fight about us, and I think that's what we're going to have today.
All 3 points, he says, Sam. Back to you inside the stadium. Ben, thank you very much.
And we'll bring him team news actually in the next 15 minutes here on Game Day Live on TalkSport with Enterprise. Rent a car, here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Back around the grounds as the second half get underway in all our Premier League kickoffs this afternoon. Forest 0, Liverpool 0, Palace 0, Wolves 0. Tolo Arakadare missing a penalty in the 43rd minute for Wolves. Sunderland 0, Fulham 0. And in the Women's FA Cup, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. I promise you, in the next hour, we will have a goal. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, 7 stops to write this best man speech. Hi, I'm Liam. And I've got nothing. Start funny. Funny's good. Ibiza. He'd never forgive me. What about friendship is a journey? Ugh, cringe. Come on. That's it. In year 5, Dan had the bright idea.
Cracking the best man speech. On the train, you can.
The hottest ticket in cricket is here. Stream Sky Sports on now and catch every match of your team in the ICC Men's T20 World Cup.
That's beautifully bowled. Oh my goodness, what a blinder that is!
Watch Zimbabwe take on the West Indies tomorrow in their first game of the Super 8 phase.
That is absolutely sensational.
Head to nowtv.com to get Sky Sports with a flexible Now membership and fire up your side.
What a catch!
18 plus UK only. Broadband 2.5 megabits per second required.
At Adrian Flux, we offer value-for-money specialist insurance for all kinds of vans and commercial vehicles. From couriers and caterers to plumbers, chippies, and even Mr. Whippies. Last year, our customers saved an average of 21% with a cost-effective, expertly tailored policy from Adrian Flux. Get van insurance that works hard for you and your business. Visit adrianflux.co.uk to get a call back today. Adrian Flux, insurance for the individual.
Going to the shops isn't everyone's bag. Like Toby here, he'd rather nurture his plants and get everything he needs to make dinner delivered by Tesco Whoosh, store to door from as little as 20 minutes.
Keep reaching for the sun, Arthur. You're growing so fast, little one. Blooming lovely, aren't you?
Carry on, Toby. Tesco Whoosh. Every little helps. Fees apply. Delivery times 20 to 60 minutes. Selected areas. Whoosh specific pricing. See tesco.com/whoosh.
South with football. Sunday Game Day Live.
Just gone 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. It's all kicking into gear now. This is Sam Matterface at a soon-to-be rocking Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Arsenal trying to keep their cool with City's shadow looming large. Spurs begin life under the latest man in the hot seat. The board is live. The scores are rolling in. Haven't had too many goals so far. We did have a couple in the Still City derby. The Women's FA Cup has yet to burst into life, but the stakes couldn't be higher. That's why it's tense and tight on Game Day Live on TalkSport. So don't blink, because you may just miss a season-defining moment in the second half. Just about to get underway in the second half to cross the Premier League. Let's head off to the City Ground where it's 0-0, but Liverpool couldn't have played much worse in that first half, Jeff Peters.
Yeah, Liverpool's second best. The scoreline is the only even thing here. Forest well in control. The only thing that's missing is a goal. Should have come early from Hudson-Odoi, denied by Alisson. 12 shots to Liverpool's 2 is an accurate representation. Arne Slot, not usually one for the half-time hairdryer treatment, but needs to work some magic. Forest 0, Liverpool 0.
Rob Edwards, the happier of the two managers at Selhurst Park at half-time. Then again, I'm not sure Oliver Glasner cares that much. James Fielden.
Yeah, hard to know. Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0 at the break. Wolves missing that penalty 2 minutes before the end of the first half through Tolu Arokodare. Just speaking to one or two colleagues downstairs, it sounds like Glasner was having a bit of a ding-dong as well between himself and a fan behind the dugout as that penalty was about to be taken, and that fan might have seen the last action this afternoon. But in terms of Palace, they've made a half-time change. Will Hughes, as we said earlier, Sam, could well have been sent off in that first half. He's now been taken off. Daichi Kamada on for the second half, which is 10 seconds in. Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0.
Yeah, that Glasner Crystal Palace story feels like it's coming to an end. I would be surprised if he was in the dugout on Thursday. Let's see what happens in the second half. Which team has been most likely to make the breakthrough at the Stadium of Light? Paul Mitchell.
Sunderland 0, Fulham 0. Well, arguably Fulham have had the better of the chances. They had 2 opportunities inside the area but didn't trouble the goalkeeper Kevin and Sessegnon with good opportunities. 1 shot on target in that first half, an easy save by Bern Leno. Noah Siddiqui wasn't going to beat him from 25 yards. More to come in the second half, I'm sure. Half time, Sunderland 0, Fulham 0.
It hasn't been that much action in the first halves of the Premier League games that we've had so far, but we're expecting big things from the North London derby. Here's Alex Crook.
Yeah, we certainly are. The Arsenal players were booed by the smattering of Spurs fans already inside this fabulous stadium as they arrived a few minutes ago, with captain Martin Ødegaard in his tracksuit, suggesting the skipper is fit enough for a place in the matchday squad. It'll be fascinating to see how Igor Tudor copes with Tottenham's crippling injury list. We know he usually likes to play with a back three. Big team news on the way in just a few minutes as Tottenham host Arsenal.
Frank goes out the door and in comes Tudor. It's in the Championship, a bad day for Sheffield Wednesday. They lost 2-1 at arch rivals Sheffield United to become the fastest team in English football history to get relegated. Owls boss Henrik Pedersen was understandably crestfallen.
Of course, I'm sad. The relegation is painful. At a club like us, we have to be relegated in February. So in the big picture, I'm very, very sure that the future will be bright for Sheffield Wednesday. In the big picture.
Picture of all us.
Any sign of a breakthrough in the Women's FA Cup? Fifth round between Chelsea and Manchester United. Angelina Kelly.
Yes, it is Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0. The deadlock has been broken by Sam Kerr, who loves a goal against Manchester United. She's only been on the pitch a few minutes and she's just poked the ball into the back of the net. It's Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0.
In the Scottish Premiership, it's Celtic 0, Hibernian 0, Livingston 0, Rangers 0. Both those games underway at 3 o'clock this afternoon. The other scorelines from the Women's FA Cup today: Brighton 2-1 winners away at West Ham. Arsenal beat Bristol City. It's half-time with Manchester City. They're beating Sheffield United. Half-time Oxford 0, Charlton 0, and Liverpool-Everton starts at 4:30. Over on TalkSport 2 in the Super League, they've just got underway. Huddersfield Giants taking on Wakefield Trinity. Both lost on opening day to French opposition, and they play each other in the second round of matches today. France against Italy starts in a couple of minutes in the Six Nations. In the T20, the Men's World Cup, England beat Sri Lanka by 51 runs earlier today. South Africa 155 for 5, 3 overs remaining. They're taking on India at the moment. And at the final day of the Winter Games, Britain's Zoe Atkin won bronze in the free ski half pipe, and China's Eileen Gu took gold for her third Olympic title. In the Kenya Open, South Africa's Casey Jarvis holds a narrow one-stroke lead as he searches for his first DP World Tour title. Jacob Bridgman holds a commanding 6-shot lead over Rory McIlroy, entering the final round at the Riviera Country Club. That's at the Genesis Invitational, the USPGA. This is TalkSport. We're taking you around the grounds on Sunday afternoon. Back round our grounds very shortly indeed. We've got team news coming as well in the next few moments with Harry Durham outside the ground as well, just getting a little bit of an atmosphere, sampling the atmosphere outside, just finding out what the fans are thinking coming into Igor Tudor's first game in charge of the club. There has been another goal though in the FA Cup. TalkSport's Angelina Kelly.
It's Chelsea 1, Manchester United 1. You wait for one goal and then two show up within minutes of each other. It was a free kick from about 25 yards out. It sailed into the box and found Simi Awuko, who actually won the free kick in the first place, and she buried it into the back of the net. It's Chelsea 1, Manchester United 1.
Promise you goals in this hour of the programme. We've got 2 at Chelsea already, and we nearly had 1 at Nottingham Forest as well. Milenkovic from a right-wing cross from Callum Hudson-Odoi, stole in at the near post. He headed the ball an inch wide of the upright. What a chance, Perry Groves, that was.
Yeah, Stuart, good delivery in from that left-hand side. Brilliant movement from Milenkovic, and just gets his little head to it, goes past the near post. You said that Igor Tudor is obviously in charge of Spurs today, Sam. All the Premier League clubs can't hit a bounder at the minute, can they?
Not right now. It's been a little bit sedate as far as goal scoring is concerned. Not the case yesterday. Actually, it was a bit yesterday, I suppose. Aston Villa 1-1 with Leeds. Brighton beat Brentford by 2-0. Chelsea 1, Burnley 1. West Ham 0, Bournemouth 0. Manchester City 2, Newcastle 1. I was at the Manchester City game last night, Perry Groves, and celebrations often tell you what games mean. It was not an easy day for Manchester City last night. The fact that Pep said we are entering the best part of the season, though, really stuck with me, because that's how they view it. I mean, Arsenal could be accused of seeing it as a little bit more squeaky bum time, a bit more anxiety around them. What impact does it have when your manager sees this as the best part of the season?
Yeah, but he's been there and seen it and done it, Sam, and we talked about experience at the beginning of the show. Pep Guardiola has that experience, and when you've got a group of players, and he said this group of players is like developing at Man City, isn't it? But they've still got 5 or 6 that have won the Premier League, that have been there, and they know what run-ins are like. So, and the thing that he'll be pleased with, earlier on in the season, I can remember Guardiola being a little bit critical of the fans at the Etihad. They said, no, it's a little bit quiet, because he said they had sort of an air of expectancy because they've become used to winning Premier League titles. So he wants it to be like a cauldron. And last night, it actually was in the second half, when Man City dropped off, which they did, because obviously they even got a bit nervous, so they knew what a massive result that they needed, obviously, to win the game, and Newcastle came onto them. The Man City faithful, they stayed positive, and there wasn't sort of moans or groans or anxiety, and that helps the players get you through difficult times. But just looking at Man City, Erling Haaland I thought was excellent, because his movement was really good. He just link-up plays better. Normally, when he's changed himself, Sammy, because normally he just sort of, you've seen him loads of times, he normally just jogs about, doesn't he, in between the centre halves, and his attitude is, I'm going to score in a minute. But he's just brought other facets to his game, which is enabling Man City to get further up the pitch.
I was going to ask you, actually, and then maybe let's bring in Mickey Gray on this. The fact that yesterday he was all action at both ends of the formation. He contributed to Nico O'Reilly's second goal with a brilliant assist. He actually almost made another one for Nico O'Reilly as well. He's sort of turned provider. He's the second top assist maker, would you believe, in the Premier League this season. Is the Manchester City forward, but his defensive work got a lot of attention yesterday as well. And I think actually the fact that he was all action upped the atmosphere in the stadium, because he was telling everybody how much it all meant.
Well, Sam, if you saw his celebrations when he cleared 2 or 3 out of his own 18-yard area, I think that kind of proved everything that, you know, he wanted to obviously win the game yesterday. But I did see him yesterday when Semenyo could have played him in on 2 or 3 occasions, kind of banging his hands off his own knees, as if he thought he should have deserved the pass and it never came his way. But you see celebrations winning the game at the end of the football match. He absolutely loves it, Erling Haaland. He's a proper team player, and you two have just been speaking about his hold-up play now. It's improved tenfold since he's been at Manchester City. He couldn't trap anything when he first came to the Premier League, albeit his goals were there. But his hold-up play and his little layoffs yesterday, I thought it was absolutely outstanding, and his work ethic was brilliant as well.
Mickey, every time he went to trap it, he ended up in the back of the net, so he didn't need to trap it, to be fair, did he?
Very true.
But Mickey, I've got to ask you, obviously, being a brilliant fullback that you were, did you have a day or a week where you just thought, my legs are gone? Because I looked at Kieran Trippier yesterday, and obviously O'Reilly got his 2 goals, especially for the second one with O'Reilly's header, where when the ball comes in from, which is a brilliant, because Erling Haaland knows what cross he would like, so it's a brilliant little dink cross. But Kieran Trippier should be getting inside Nico O'Reilly just to knock him off balance or back into him. I just think
he's not going to beat him in the air.
No, but
what he can do is he can influence his attempt to head the ball by just leaning
Silva
into him.
did that, Sam, on a couple of occasions yesterday, and we know he's 5 foot dot, Bernardo Silva, and if you remember, there was a couple of crosses came to the back post, and he just upset Dan Burn, so he couldn't actually get the leap ahead of Bernardo Silva, and that's what Trippier should have done. In that situation, the one you're speaking about, Perry, he was flat-footed, he got caught flat-footed when he shouldn't have been, because he knew that cross was coming in from Erling Haaland. He should have been reacting quicker than Nico O'Reilly, but because he didn't, that's why he found himself on the wrong side of O'Reilly, who's obviously taller than him. He got the leap, and he was able to guide that header into the bottom corner. It was a brilliant header, by the way, but you're totally right. There's a time in your career where you think, am I good enough to still play in the Premier League every single week? But if the manager comes to you and says, look, are you fit to play? You know what I'm going to say, Perry. You say 100%, absolutely, I want to play. Maybe he does need a rest, I don't know.
Also, they haven't got anybody else to play in that position at the moment because Miley's injured, Livramento is injured, and he's being asked to play every week. He's played 10 Premier League 10 games in a row. He started for Newcastle United. He hasn't had any rest. He's been lent upon. Do you think that he needs to be taken out of the firing line, or do you think that he actually is coming to the end of his career?
Do you know what happens, Mickey, as well? Because you were quick. Kieran Trippier is quick, right? And what happens is you can sort of switch off, but your pace gets you out of trouble. We can talk about Kyle Walker later on, which is the same. Exactly, yeah, but what happens with Kieran Trippier? He should be experienced enough to know that's where I need to be, but before, he knew that if he did that little bit of pace and acceleration would get him into that situation. So I think that's where Trippier's struggling. I just want to say as well about Donnarumma, because you need your goalkeepers to make big saves at the right time, and the save that he made from Harvey Barnes was in the 4th minute of added on time from the volley,
brilliant.
Low down to his right hand side, was absolutely world class. So you need your big players in big moments.
Yeah, indeed you do. Manchester City do feel as if they're gaining a little bit of momentum, and I think the signing of Mark Gay is certainly given that. His partnership with Ruben Diaz interesting. And by the way, a bit of a word for Abdul Kanir Kusanov, who came off the bench at half-time yesterday, settled into the game brilliant. He is so fast, got great acceleration, and actually it was really important that he came on and did a job for Manchester City, because Pep Guardiola was a little bit concerned after Ruben Diaz had been booked that one high ball over the top, Anthony Gordon causing all sorts of menace, could have ended up in a second yellow card. I actually thought, Mickey Gray, that Newcastle probably played their best game away at the Etihad that they've ever done under Eddie Howe, and they just were a little bit unlucky to come away with nothing. I think they'll do them in the FA Cup, by the way.
Oh, right. Well, I agree with you in the second half, Sam. I thought Newcastle played very well in the second half, but I think they showed Man City a little bit too much respect in that first 45 minutes, albeit, there was a 1v1 battle, wasn't there, with Haaland and Byrne, which was brilliant to watch. It was like old school football, wasn't it, which was great to see. But you're right about momentum in Man City and being there, and they've done it before. They know how to get over the line. I think over the last couple of weeks, but going back to probably the Liverpool game, where they just felt then they had a chance of winning the Premier League, I don't think they've looked back since that moment. They've been fantastic.
Hold on, Mickey Gray. We have our first Premier League goal of the day. It's come at the Stadium of Light. Paul Mitchell.
And it's come for the man who scored the winner at Craven Cottage in this fixture earlier in the season, Raul Jimenez. A corner kick from the left-hand side, swung in, unmarked, simple header past the goalkeeper. He went off to celebrate. It breaks the deadlock. We've had two brilliant chances before then, one for each team, but the deadlock finally broken, and it's a double in this fixture this season for Raul Jimenez. Sunderland 0, Fulham 1.
It's a great breakthrough for Marco Silva and his team. They lead away from home at the Stadium of Light. And Paul Mitchell was saying it a little bit earlier on. It felt a little bit sort of end of season, didn't it, in that first half? Well, now Sunderland have got to somehow reignite themselves and get back into the game. They trail by 1-0. Still 0-0 between Nottingham Forest and Liverpool, and still 0-0 between Crystal Palace and Wolverhampton Wanderers. At 4:30, we've got the North London Derby, the 199th North London Derby. And Alex Crook has all the team news, all thanks to Betfair.
And I can tell you, Igor Tudor makes 2 changes from Thomas Frank's final lineup as Tottenham manager. That was a defeat here against Newcastle that ultimately cost the Dane his job. João Paulinho and Randall Kolo Muani, a player known well to the new Tottenham manager, come into the lineup. No Odobert in the matchday squad. Dominic Solanke drops to the bench. As for Arsenal, well, he got a hat-trick when these two met in the reverse fixture. Eberici Eze in from the start. He replaces Madueke in midfield. Trossard is preferred to Martinelli as well. And I mentioned that he arrived in his tracksuit. Martin Ødegaard is amongst the Arsenal subs. Kai Havertz not in that matchday squad. It looks as if Igor Tudor is going to play his preferred back 3 formation with Vicario in goal, Dragusin, Paulinho and Van der Ven, I would suggest, the centre-halves, with Gray and Spence the wing-backs, Gallagher, Basuma and Sarr in midfield, then Kolo Muani and Simons up top. As for Arsenal, Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Hincapié the back 4, Zubamendi and Rice in front of them. Saka goes back out to the right wing, Eze in the 10 position, Trossard on the left and Victor Gyökeres in attack.
Igor Tudor used the back 3 in 22 of his 24 games at Juventus. Spurs only played a back 3 4 times this season, including in that 4-1 hammering at the Emirates. Does the system suit the players he's got available, Perry Groves, or is there a feeling with Paulinho being pushed into that back 3 that he's crowbarring players in to make the system work? I'll tell you what, we'll come back and do that in just a second, because there's been a big development at Selhurst Park. James Fielden.
Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0, but Wolves now down 10 men. Ladislav Krejci has just been sent off here for a second yellow card. It is absolute lunacy from the Czechia international. He's protesting here to the referee. He was booked a few minutes ago for a late challenge in the middle of the park. He's given away another free kick here, and although it's not for the challenge itself, he knocked the ball away in frustration. It was well after the whistle had gone, and already in the corner of the ground between the main stand here and the Holmesdale end, he's now got to trot back across the tarmac into the porter cabin where the away changing room is here at Selhurst Park. And now a thinking job for Rob Edwards, Paul Trollope and Rui Pedro Silva, the Wolves first team coaches, to try and work out how they're going to address this now. Do they put on another defender? Do they go for broke? Do they just stick with what they've got and go to a back 4? Time will tell. Palace have a throw which Richards hurls into the box, a clash inside the area, a player going down for either team. Wolves have managed to clear the ball away, but their task now just got a whole lot harder. They've lost probably their best centre-half of the 3, and with 62 minutes gone, it's Palace 0, Wolves 0, but Wolves down to 10 men.
You can't check a second yellow card. If you could, that would not be one, I don't think, because has he kicked the ball away in frustration? I'm not sure that he heard the whistle. He was just clearing the ball because he felt as if he had a player who's putting him under pressure.
I don't think he thought the ball gone out of play, because he's running in the left back position to his own goal in the corner, and as he's got to the corner, I just think he's tried to clear it. Thomas Kirk, the referee, I think he's got that one wrong.
Yeah, I think he's got it wrong. What's happened at the Stadium of Light? Because there's a big penalty shout. Paul Mitchell.
There is a penalty shout, and referee Craig Pawson has been called over by VAR. Tony Harrington. Now, there was a shirt pull in the box. Bassey went down. Brian Brobby, I think it was, who had his hand in his jersey, let it go, but the defender was already going down in the box. It came from a Wilson free kick. The referee is currently right in line with me, way on that far side, looking at the monitor, Sam, but he's been called over. I suspect he's going to give it because there was a clear shirt pull. You could see separation between the back and the shirt. The referee is about to announce he has gone and made the sign of the screen. He's about to come over the PA system here and give his announcement. The home fans, I don't think, are going to like what he's got to say. And Fulham are getting ready. They think it's a penalty kick. He is wandering over very, very slowly, not speaking a great deal at the moment. The referee, I have to say, I thought it was a penalty, and the referee has given it. it's just one of these things. You cannot pull a shirt in the box for that long and expect to get away with it. And the yellow card will come out for Brian Brobby as well. So remember, Fulham ahead through it. Raul Jimenez goal after 54 minutes. That came from a corner kick from that left-hand side. He rose unchallenged, and now it is going to be a spot kick, and that will come the way of Fulham. And, well, a little bit of shenanigans going on. Fulham watching as the players from Sunderland go to speak to the goalkeeper. It is with Raul, who's looking for his second goal of the afternoon. Pops the ball down on the spot. Raul against Robin Roos, one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League this season. Raul steps past almost at the D, and he stands, hands on hips. Ball is on the spot. Everybody else left and right of the box. He's going to move from the D on the referee's whistle. Takes a couple of steps to the left-hand side. Stops again. Addresses the ball into the opposite corner. Well, it was a stop-start run, but there was no doubting where the ball ended up. Bottom left-hand corner. This match has swung Fulham's way. It's a double for Raul Jimenez. Sunderland 0, Fulham 2.
I think you'll find that Raul Jimenez is statistically the best penalty taker in the Premier League, and he's scored again. Brian Brobby has been booked, and you cannot hold on for a shirt that long inside the penalty area, Perry Groves.
What is Brian Brobby doing? Because you know what, Sam, he's had a panic up. Because I think it's Calvin Bassey's got the wrong side of him, then what he's done, he's gone to have a little grab, and then they call it now, is it sustained holding? Exactly, that was uber sustained holding. And to be fair, when Craig Pawson, he was quite casual jogging over to the monitor, to be fair, wasn't he? Like, yeah, I've got plenty of time here, but 100% it was a penalty.
Uber's not here for another half hour. It's 2-0 to Fulham away from home. We need to discuss these teams, but we'll do that in just a second. Big game for Eze. Again, he starts. Saka back on the right-hand side. Those lineups, by the way, that we bought you just moments ago, brought to you by Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage. Angelina Kelly's watching Chelsea against Manchester United. That's gone to extra time. Back with her very shortly indeed. This is TalkSport. We're taking you back around the grounds very shortly.
Going to the shops isn't everyone's bag. Like Toby here, he'd rather nurture his plants and get everything he needs to make dinner delivered by Tesco Whoosh, store to door from as little as 20 minutes.
Keep reaching for the sun, Arthur. You're growing so fast, little one. Blooming lovely, aren't you?
Carry on, Toby. Tesco Whoosh. Every little helps. Fees apply. Delivery times 20 to 60 minutes. Selected areas. Whoosh specific pricing. See tesco.com/whoosh.
Sunday Game Day Live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
At Betfair, we believe that to play different, you need the right tools. The boots, the world-class tactics, the science-backed nutrition. The pros have their tools, and with Betfair, so do you. Our safer gambling tools work just like the right pair of boots, designed to keep you on top of your game. Open the Betfair app to equip yourself so you can bet at your best. Betfair. Play different.
18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Turn ordinary into the extraordinary every day with the Lexus LBX. Whilst most SUVs are big and brash, the LBX is quietly bold and confident. Refined luxury crafted into a compact SUV. The Lexus LBX. What car's best small SUV 2024 and 2025?
We're back at the Coral Fan Arena, where things are getting tasty. First up, it's the Bet Builders, pricing up their picks. No calls and 12 cards? All right, have it your way. Oh, and it's a mid-game appearance from the in-play experts. Fingers poised, ready to back a late comeback. Even at 3-0 down, they still believe. It's the fans that make every season spectacular. Coral, we're here for it.
18 plus. T's and C's apply. GambleAware.org.
Sunday Game Day Live on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now. Like Spurs versus Arsenal live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply. All you can eat football. Sunday Game Day Live.
It's Game Day Live on TalkSport this Sunday afternoon with me, Sam Matterface, across the sporting world today. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Sunderland 0, Fulham 2. Nottingham Forest still in action at the moment, trying to put pressure on Liverpool. Back to Jeff Peters very shortly. Tottenham against Arsenal kicks off at 4:30. And we've got live team news recap in just a second with Alex Crook. Sheffield United 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Sheffield Wednesday relegated. Celtic 0, Hibernian 0, Livingston 1, Rangers 0 in the Scottish Premiership, which is bad news for Danny Rowe's team. Were on a good unbeaten run in the league. In the Women's FA Cup, Brighton have knocked out West Ham. Arsenal are through. Chelsea, Manchester United has gone to extra time. Manchester City have beaten Sheffield United. Oxford 0, Charlton 0. Liverpool against Everton kicks off at 4:30, and it's Huddersfield Giants 0, Wakefield Trinity 0 in the Super League, and there's no score in the Six Nations yet either. India have been set 188 to win and are yet to bat in their men's T20 World Cup. That got underway at 1:30, and we can have a look at the latest odds, all thanks to Betfair.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
It's Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0. Forest 11-4 to win the game. The draw is even money. Liverpool 9-4. Currently Crystal Palace 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, but Wolves are down to 10. Krejci was sent off. Palace 11-10 on to win the game. The draw is 5-4. Wolves 10-1 to win the game. It's also Sunderland 0, Fulham 2. Sunderland 100-1 to come back and win the game. The draw is 16-1. Fulham are 33-1 on. That's all thanks to Betfair. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Barcelona in a bit of crisis, just about to get underway against Levante. They already lead by a goal to nil, but now after just 4 minutes they lead by 1 goal to nil, 11 minutes into that game. Let's go off to Mickey Gray and Jeff Peters at the City Ground. Any sign of a breakthrough in that game? Because we've gone quite a long time now, and Nottingham Forest at the moment still holding on against Liverpool. Have Liverpool actually got any better second half, Jeff?
Yeah, it's Forest 0, Liverpool 0 as Forest go again from the edge of the penalty area. It's one of the substitutes, Dylan Bakwa, who puts it wide. He's just changed the wingers, Bakwa and Ndoye coming on for Hudson-Odoi and Hutchinson. Hudson-Odoi with the early chance in the game, saved by the goalkeeper. He then crossed for Milenkovic early in the second half, and his header was just wide. Ynwa has also put in a cross from the right-hand side. Appeared to be a cross. Eventually almost caught the goalkeeper out, landed on the top of the net. But from Liverpool's point of view, it's Liverpool who were kind of holding on here. They finally, though, had a shot on target. It came about 10 minutes after the restart. It was Gakpo, left-hand side, ball to the far post. Mo Salah headed it back. Curtis Jones was there, and his effort was saved by Ortega's leg. That is the only shot on target we've had from Liverpool. They've had 7 shots. Forest have had 14, 2 of those on target. And Liverpool have definitely been better in the second half, but still not great, as Mo Salah, towards the edge of the penalty area, appeals for a foul, doesn't get it, ball runs out of play for a Forest goal kick.
Yeah, the interesting thing what Liverpool have done in this second half, Jeff, is they've made it into a bad game. They've come down to a level and they've brought Nottingham Forest down to that level. Nottingham Forest's problem is they get into really good areas, and I think this has obviously been a concern throughout the whole of the season, is why they don't score goals. Second lowest scorers in the Premier League. They get into good areas, but they're not clinical enough to see out games and win football matches. If they had that striker who would get goals on a weekly basis, I think they'd be in a completely different position. The football that they're playing at the moment is very good, albeit they were better in the first half. But they just need that one big chance to get over the line in this game. But Liverpool, you're right, they're coming back into this game.
But Igor Jesus, his goal scoring record, not so great in the league, but overall in the various competitions. Chris Wood, obviously out injured. They brought Luca in as well. That game against Wolves here, they had 35 shots in the game. I mean, Luca should have scored in the first half when they had a 6-on-1 break, which sometimes you might see at the end of a game, but this was in the first half. But I think they really have missed Chris Wood, who was so good for them last season.
Yeah, without a doubt. Look, whatever you think of Chris Wood, he's an out-and-out centre-forward who just likes putting the ball in the back of the net. Look, I think in time, Vitor Pereira, you get him to work with the 2 wide players and the forward guys at Nottingham Forest, and he will turn it round.
72 gone. It is Forest 0, Liverpool 0.
Give me 3 words to sum up Mo Salah's performance that you've seen so far today, Perry Groves.
Lackadaisical, lazy, inept.
Interesting. Be interesting to hear from the Liverpool fans about that a little bit later on. 037172222 double 4. Wolverhampton Wanderers are down to 10 players. Crystal Palace surely can't fail to beat them now, James Fielden.
You would imagine so. Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0. Remember, they are winless here at the moment in 8 games since they beat Brentford way back on the 1st of November. But they're making hard work. But Oliver Glasner has at least thrown caution to the wind. He's taken off Chadi Riyad at the back and thrown Evan Gesson to get them another player in the front line. And down the right-hand side now, Sarr trying to get beyond Santi Bueno, but he has managed to keep it in play and plays it away for Wolves. Did wonder what Wolves would do after that red card for Krejci. Seems to be some split among people who some think it was harsh, like you guys said earlier, and some who thought he was silly. I've rewound the stream at my end and watched his body language. He thought the ball had stayed in play, but the way he nonchalantly knocks the ball away up the line, he knows it's gone out of play. You can tell by his body language. And after that red card, they've taken off Adam Armstrong, and David Mollert-Wolfer has come on to add the extra player in the back line again. In terms of chances in this second half, Wolves had one half opportunity really before the red card. A long ball from Hugo Bueno into the Palace area. Henderson came and flying out of his goal, punched it down, but left an open goal behind him. Armstrong tried to chip him, but his effort was blocked at source. And then a long throw from the Palace left, only half headed away. As Palace come forward through here by Kamada, it's cleared. It was headed away by Arakadare. Mitchell took it on the thigh and then volleyed it towards goal on the edge of the box, but it was looping, and an easy catch for Jose Sarr. That's the only effort on target either side has had in this second half so far. Palace making hard work of it, but they've had 74% of the ball since half-time and have surely got to ram home that advantage at some point. We've got 15 minutes to go. It's Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0.
Fulham on top in the game at the Stadium of Light. Any sign of a Sunderland fight back, Paul Mitchell?
Sunderland 0, Fulham 2. Not at the moment. They've just made a trio of changes, including Granit Xhaka coming back on. He's missed the last 5 for Sunderland, but he's been brought on. The 2 goals, Raul Jimenez goes after 54 and 61 minutes. 54 a header from a corner, 61 a penalty after Brian Brobby had clumsily just pulled the shirt of Calvin Bassey. 13 penalties out of 13 for Raul Jimenez. Now, Sunderland, it has to be said, before Fulham got the goal, Brian Brobby had a chance to shoot from 18 yards out. He passed the ball. Romain Mundell moved into the area and went wide with a shot. So 2 great opportunities before Fulham got themselves ahead, but Fulham will now try and manage this one out. At the Stadium of Light, Sunderland 0, Fulham 2.
Into extra time down at Kings Meadow, where Chelsea are taking on Manchester United. They couldn't be split in 90 minutes. Who's on top in the first period of extra time? Here's Angelina Kelly.
It has just been Chelsea 2, Manchester United 1. Naomi Girma has just put Chelsea ahead thanks to a corner. It pinged around the box. Balintullis-Joyce managed to keep it out of the net, but Girma was there to put it back into the back of the net. This is obviously after the second half, within 3 minutes of each other. Chelsea Sam Kerr and United Simi Awujo did manage to get goals, but Chelsea have been absolutely brilliant. They've flexed their muscles when it comes to squad depth, bringing on Vika Kaptain, Guro Wright and Khadija Buchanan, who makes her first appearance since her ACL injury in November 2024. They've replaced Siorka Nuskan, Lauren James and Lucy Bronze, but as it stands, it is Chelsea 2, Manchester United 1.
United States international Girma scoring for Chelsea to put them in front. The holders in front against the team that they met in the final last year. We've got the North London derby at 4:30. TalkSport's Harry Durham out and about outside today, just soaking up the fans' feelings ahead of the North London derby. Who have you got with you now, Harry?
Sam, thank you very much. I'm joined by Harrison, the Spurs fan. Harrison, your instant reaction to the Spurs lineup. Kolo Muani, who hasn't scored yet in the Premier League for Spurs, starts up top in the North London derby. Talk us through how you're feeling.
Well, I mean, we ain't really got much else at the minute. I feel like he's capable of something, but he just ain't really shown it too much at the minute. But I think the biggest blow is probably Odegaard at the minute. He's been our best player recently going forward, so that's probably the one really that's gutting. But yeah, I don't know. It's the best we've probably got at the minute.
Quickfire, what would it mean to derail Arsenal's title hope? What would it mean to you?
It'd be unbelievable. It'd shut them all up. I'm always getting stick at the minute, so come on you Spurs, isn't it? That's all I can say.
Harrison, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the game. Sam, back to you inside the stadium. Cheers.
Okay, let's debate this, because we're having a bit of a discussion between the three of us. You two are kicking off about the fact that he's starting Kolo Muani up front. we knew he was going to start Kolo Muani up front because they worked together before at Juventus in the second half of last season. He was on loan in Serie A. He scored 5 goals under his management, and he was always going to go to someone that he knows. Dominic Solanke has been ill this week, has hardly trained. He's had a throat problem, and he's just coming back from injury himself. And Richarlison hasn't played yet since coming back from injury. Why are you so surprised that he's gone for Kolo Muani? Look at you two being laughing now.
So does that mean that Igor Tudor has said to Dominic Solanke, can you give me like an hour? And he couldn't answer him because he's got a throat problem, so he didn't know what he said. Worst ways out, you play Solanke up front for an hour, because when you're playing the way, some of the media outlets are saying that Spurs are going to go into a back four. So with Gray, Dragusin, Van der Ven and Spence as the back four, we'll see how that pans out. But you need an out, especially when you're playing against Arsenal, because they're going to be physical. I think Solanke gives you some physicality.
There's been a penalty at the Stadium of Light. Paul Mitchell.
Sunderland 0, Fulham 2, but Sunderland will go to the penalty spot. Enzo Lefebvre has the ball tucked under his arm. If you were to think of a Sunderland player who'd be inside the box driving at the byline to try and get a crossover, I doubt you would be thinking of Dan Ballard, but that's precisely what he did. He drove the ball across, he got in behind Ryan Sessegnon, who took him down. You could see the jersey being pulled in the tug. Now the referee is currently speaking about 5 players on the edge of the D. Enzo Lefebvre is just standing with the ball. The goalkeeper is beyond the penalty taker. He's being waved back into his goal as Bernd Leno. So a real opportunity for Sunderland to get back into this one with 15 minutes to go. They're 2 down, 2 goals by Raul Jimenez, first after 54 minutes from ahead of the second after 61 minutes from the penalty spot. Career goals for him, by the way, 200 and 201. So Sunderland with the opportunity from the spot. 4 goals this season for the Frenchman. This to bring them back into it with 15 minutes to play at the Stadium of Light. He stands to the left. The goalkeeper is rattling the crossbar with his palms. The face steps up, absolutely hammers the ball home into the back of the net. No chance for the goalkeeper. Game on again at the Sunderland Stadium. Stadium of Light erupts. It's Sunderland 1, Fulham 2.
Yeah, it's game on now. Last 10 minutes will be massive for the fans at the Stadium of Light and Regis Labrie. They put it back to 2-1, and Fulham have been guilty of throwing away points at the end of games. Very quickly then, Dominic Solanke, you're sceptical about the fact that he's not in the team.
No, it just sums up Spurs' luck, doesn't it? They've got 13 players injured, their captain's got himself suspended. You give your players some time off, he flies off on holiday, Dom Solanke, for 5 days and comes back ill.
Do you know what? He wasn't an EasyJet, Cookie. He'd have been a private jet, so he ain't called it on the plane, is he?
Well, you're suggesting that it might be something to do with the air conditioning system. Right, let's talk about the Arsenal team very quickly. Big game for Eze's got to deliver.
100%. It's Mikel Arteta saying to Eberechi Eze, I trust you. Obviously got the hat-trick, brilliant hat-trick in that home game. He scored 6 goals in the last 4 appearances versus Spurs. So, and he's going to play in that inside right with Declan Rice inside left, Zuberman a bit deeper. All I want to see, not just from Eze, but from the whole team, just to go and be creative, and want Arteta just to release the hounds and say, right, go on the front foot and just be fluid.
The TalkSport Daily podcast has looked ahead to Spurs against Arsenal and asked, is this the biggest North London derby in years? Ollie Klink is joined by Spurs podcaster Ricky Sachs and Arsenal broadcaster Harry Symeou. If you want to hear more, the TalkSport Daily app is available on your usual podcast provider, or it's available on the TalkSport app. You can also hear on that feed an exclusive interview with Shabana Hearn and Newcastle and England defender Dan Burn. It's Game Day Live on TalkSport with Sky Sports, and don't forget that with now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Spurs versus Arsenal live today. Search Now Sports, and we'll be taking you back around the grounds. Wolves down to 10 but drawing 0-0 away at Selhurst Park, where the atmosphere is not great. Forest 0, Liverpool 0, and Sunderland 1, Fulham 2.
I've always been ambitious, and in teaching, I've found plenty of opportunities to progress. As head of English, I now get to support all the other teachers in my department. They often learn from my advice, though actually, I often learn from theirs. The support and development we all get from each other is amazing. It benefits not just us, but every student we teach. How many of the professions can say that?
Every lesson shapes a life. Start shaping yours with a minimum starting salary of £31,000. Search Get Into Teaching.
Tesco Finest Alderwood Smoked Bacon, the foundation for the ultimate bacon butty. It's why only the finest bacon is traditionally hand-cured with Cornish sea salt, delicately smoked over Alderwood and matured for at least 19 days. Layer it between slices of crusty bread and savour its richer flavour.
All you have to think about is brown sauce or red. Make your everyday taste better with Tesco Finest. Majority of larger stores.
At Tesco Mobile, club card prices are frozen, so your contract price stays on ice. Get the iPhone 17 with 12 gigs of data and an iPad, all for just $45.99 a month for 36 months with club card prices, saving you £126. And it stays like that for the length of your contract. It pays to be connected. Search Tesco Mobile. Every little helps. Ends 22nd of March. Club card and 36-month credit agreement required. Savings calculated on contract duration. Terms at tescomobile.com/terms.
Football Sunday.
Game Day Live.
It's Game Day Live on TalkSport with me, Sam Matterface. The Premier League action is underway. Sheffield United have already relegated Sheffield Wednesday today. Hibernian are 1-0 up away at Celtic, who do have a game in hand, but they're just not quite right at the moment. They lost to Stuttgart on Thursday night quite heavily. Martin Earl's got a very good record in his 2 spells in charge. He's only lost 1 game before that European tie in midweek, so it's 2 in a row now, and he's behind against Hibernian. Livingston 1, Rangers 0. Rangers also behind in pursuit of Hearts, who won yesterday. Women's FA Cup, Brighton through. Chelsea leading against Manchester United. Arsenal through. Manchester City almost through. Charlton almost through as well. Liverpool-Everton is a little bit later on. Wakefield are 8-4 up against the Huddersfield Giants in Super League over on TalkSport 2. And France lead Italy by 12 points over in the Six Nations. India need 175 runs to win from 18 overs with 8 wickets remaining to beat South Africa. And let's go off to the game at the City Ground, where there's been a clash inside the penalty area. And we've got 6 minutes to go. Any sign of a winner for TalkSport's Mickey Gray and Jeff Peters?
Well, it's Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0. There has been a raft of changes, and Doy backward, Dominguez and Luca all coming on for Forest. Remember, they did play on Thursday. Possible chance for Gibbs-White. Now Sangare just wide. Gibbs-White's effort was blocked, came out to Sangare, and it's gone just wide of the goal. Liverpool making changes, oncoming Chiesa, Ungamoa, Gomez and Robertson. Among the players going off, Mo Salah, 9 Premier League games without a goal, his longest run ever, and a disappointing afternoon from him. Who looks more likely to nick a winner here, Mickey?
Well, I thought we were just going to get the winner there. Again, Nico Williams has been absolutely fantastic in this game. Great wing play down the left-hand side. It was a beautiful ball into the area. Gibbs-White gets his shot away, and Andy Robinson's first touch was to block his shot. And then on the rebound as well, Sangare couldn't quite hit the target, but they're knocking on the door, Nottingham Forest.
Here's Aina, plays it into the middle, and, well, it's safety first from one of the substitutes. Joe Gomez puts it behind for a corner. The home fans just trying to crank things up here. They've been the better team. Last 4 minutes of normal time. It's Forest 0, Liverpool 0.
Interesting, isn't it? Mo Salah has never gone 9 Premier League games without a goal. He has now, and that, I think, sums up the season that he has had so far. So still 0-0 there. Is it still 0-0 at Selhurst Park? And what's the atmosphere like in that stadium now, James Fielden?
It is Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0 with 3 and a bit minutes to go. The atmosphere is okay. Your classic Sunday early kick-off. I mean, the drum is beating with the 50 Homesdale fanatics away to our right-hand side, but it hasn't been a game to set the pulses racing. Having said that, it is Palace who are looking to finish the stronger here after that Wolves red card for Ladislav Krejci. There was a Pino free kick on the edge of the box that was tame, and an easy take for Sarr, who barely had to move. And then the ball sat up for Brennan Johnson, who's only just come on as a substitute, some 20 yards out. And it was moving and hit at big pace as well, but it hit a Wolves body and flew over the top and behind for a corner. The last 0-0 here between the sides was back in March 1985 in the old second division, as Johnson plays one across the 6-yard line here, but Strand Larsen nowhere to be seen to tuck it home. As I say, Palace having most of the ball now, Wolves looking to solidify and secure their point that would pull them level with that Derby side of yesteryear that had 11 points at the end of the Premier League season. It would take Rob Edwards' side to 11, and surely the target for them would be to try and get above Burnley. That would be significant progress. progress for them as Mané comes forward here. He's been dispossessed. Wolves with limited numbers going forward. Joao Gomez has come on for Bellegarde to try and lock this game down, but it looks like this one is going to end as a stalemate. Neither side with the quality needed to secure the points, and with 2 minutes to go of normal time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0.
Perry, you were a winger back in the day. Brennan Johnson's just been played in down the right-hand side. He's gone galloping beyond the defender, getting into a right wing position, and he pulls the ball across the 6-yard box, but there's not a single other Crystal Palace body inside the penalty area. Firstly, everybody else has got to try and get up alongside him, but secondly, if you are Brennan Johnson, you've got to be looking into the penalty area and deciding whether or not it's the right thing to do to hold the ball in that situation, or just putting it into an area. Back with you in just a second to get an answer on that, because there has been a goal at the Stadium of Light. It's not an equaliser, is it, Paul Mitchell?
It certainly isn't. It's Sunderland 1, Fulham 3. Fulham unbeaten in the last 5 Premier League matches at the Stadium of Light. Click that up to 6. Alex Iwobi with a brilliant goal. What a break from the back. Sunderland had been pushing. Harry Wilson collected the ball in his own half, drove up to the edge of the area, laid it across into the path of Iwobi, and he just knocked it across the goalkeeper. What a goal to round things off here. Sunderland 1, Fulham 3.
They got away with this.
Let's go off to the City Ground. There's been a late goal and a bit of drama for Jeff Peters.
An 89th minute goal. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 1. Have they won it at the death? Ball was crossed from the right-hand side by Ungamoa. It was headed goalwards. Brilliant save by the goalkeeper. The clearance then from Ola Aina has hit McAllister. It was a brilliant save by Ortega from the original header from Ekatike, and then Ola Aina's clearance has just hit McAllister and flown into the back of the net. What a strange goal.
Look, this game of football is cruel at times, and it's been very cruel on Nottingham Forest today, who don't deserve to lose this football match. I mean, how's your luck? It's absolutely incredible.
Alex McAllister with the goal. Forest 0, Liverpool 1.
Absolute carnage at the end of the games in the Premier League, because there's been a goal at Selhurst Park. James Fielden.
90th minute match winner for Crystal Palace. Evan Gesson with his first for the club, and this time they did make it count when a ball flashed across the penalty area, and some light relief for Oliver Glasner, who has felt the heat today. Palace playing it around the outside of the Wolves penalty area. Eventually when left to Tyreek Mitchell, who wasn't closed down. Low ball into the edge of the 6-yard box, and there stretching was the Cote d'Ivoire international Evan Gesson, who guided it low into the corner, and Wolves' stubborn second half resistance has been broken. There's surely no way back for them from here. Gesson the match winner, and in the first minute of 8 added on, it is now Crystal Palace 1, Wolves 0.
Still time for late drama there. There still might be a bit of drama at the City Ground, because that goal's gone to a VAR check. Here's Jeff Peters.
It has gone to a VAR check, and the referee has disallowed the goal for a handball, for an elbow from McAllister. He had his back turned as the clearance came in from Aina. It's gone directly into the net. VAR has checked it, and the goal has been disallowed. Incredible drama to have the goal and then to not have the goal here, so it's 0-0.
Well, do you know what I have to say? It's a brilliant decision, because McAllister is not complaining very much to the referee. He knows where that ball has hit him on that elbow before the ball has obviously crept into the back of the net from the Aina clearance. But what a spot from VAR. We criticise him at times, Jeff, and I know it's very close and he can't really do anything, but that is a very, very good decision.
Wow. Forest 0, Liverpool 0.
Correct decision. We'll get full times in just a second here on TalkSport, because it's all kicking off right at the very end of the 2 p.m. kickoffs.
The hottest ticket in cricket is here. Stream Sky Sports on now and catch every match of your team in the ICC Men's T20 World Cup.
That's beautifully bowled. Oh my goodness, what a blinder that is!
Watch Zimbabwe take on the West Indies tomorrow in their first game of the Super 8 phase.
That is absolutely sensational.
Head to nowtv.com to get Sky Sports with a flexible Now membership and fire up your side.
What a catch!
18 plus UK only. Broadband 2.5 megabits per second required.
I'll now hand you over to my best man, Eddie. Wow, wow, wow. Second time's a charm, eh, Billy boy?
Oh, God.
Substitution courtesy of Paddy Power. Embarrassing Eddie makes way for sensible Samuel.
Cool, that was close. You might not always pick the right starter, but your sub can still deliver. Because with Paddy's Super Sub, your bet rolls over to the player coming on. Paddy Power.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Pre-match and in-play bets on qualifying player outcome selections only. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18+, gambleware.org.
Sunday Game Day Live on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
A team flying high at the top of the table faces a team battling relegation with a brand new box. And it's a London derby. Could it get more exciting? Well, yes, actually. With a TalkSport Bet Sunday Broadcast Super Boost. Tottenham versus Arsenal. A goal to be scored in both halves of the match. Current price 4-6. Broadcast Super Boosted price 5-4. TalkSport Bet. Back of the net broadcaster. Bring it on, bookie. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, gambleware.org.
Stop, listen, chicken. The 10 mini fillet bucket, $7.99. 10 succulent mini fillets. Buy, eat, digest. Good, repeat. Get the deal, believe in chicken. KFC. Until 22nd of March, subject to availability. Participating restaurants only. Excludes delivery. Full T's and C's at kfc.co.uk.
Sport. It's in your DNA. That's why at SpreadX Sports, you get great offers and features to aid your sports betting, including £30 in free bets when you join and place a qualifying £10 fixed odds bet at minimum odds of 1-2. Visit spreadx.com/DNA for full terms and conditions. SpreadX Sports. It's in our DNA. 18+, gambleware.org. Qualifying bets cannot be cashed out early. Once settled, get 3 free £10 fixed odds bets on consecutive days. Free bet stakes not included in any winnings. Free bets must be claimed within 28 days.
Sunday Game Day Live on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now. Like Spurs versus Arsenal live today. Search Now Sports. 18+, stream via internet. Terms apply.
It's frothy football, man. Sunday Game Day Live.
Game Day Live on TalkSport with me, Sam Matterface, all kicking off all over the Premier League now. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0, but Liverpool thought they'd won it. They haven't. Not yet anyway. They're into injury time in that game. Alexis McAllister's goal was ruled out. Crystal Palace lead by a goal to 0. They're in 8 minutes of added time. Sunderland 3-1 down at home to Fulham. Let's go round the grounds. Nottingham Forest, Liverpool. What's happening in the last few minutes there? TalkSport's Jeff Peters.
It's still Forest 0, Liverpool 0. That goal scored by McAllister, disallowed thanks to VAR, but Ekitike really should have scored just before that. What a save from Ortega.
100%, he's got to score, and a man in form as well, Ekitike, but an outstanding save from Ortega. Look, by the law, it's the right decision, Jeff, but his arm is by his side. What is he supposed to do, McAllister? Look, I'm not saying they deserve anything from the game today, Liverpool, but they didn't deserve 3 points.
So we're deep in stoppage time here. It's Forest 0, Liverpool 0.
Yeah, I was downstairs just a moment ago just talking to a couple of Tottenham fans, and they said to me, Sam, have you seen that disallowed goal at the City ground? It can't be handball. And I said to them, same as what Mickey's just said. The letter of the law says if it hits your hand and goes into the goal, it cannot be a goal. James Fielden, what's happening at Selhurst Park?
Well, we're in the last knockings here. Crystal Palace 1. Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. We've got 3 minutes just under left of added time, and it looks like Evan Gesson's first goal on loan at Crystal Palace from Aston Villa is going to be the difference here. They could have had another as well just a minute ago. Corner from the right, nodded down to JD Canvo, who just had to turn on the 6-yard box and prod it past Jose Sarr, but he got right underneath it and sent it into the stand. Wolves have made a late sub, sending on Angel Gomez and Mosquera. They're trying to rally, but surely it's too late. Just over 2 minutes of added time left. Palace 1, Wolves 0.
Sunderland only lost 4 of their first 20 games. They're going to lose 5 in 7, Paul Mitchell.
Yeah, indeed, Sunderland 1, Fulham 3, a double by Raul Jimenez into Lafite, pulled one back from the spot from Sunderland, but Alex Iwobi with a brilliant counter-attacking goal has rounded things up within 9 minutes of stoppage time. Sunderland 1, Fulham 3.
Off to the City ground where they're into the final few seconds. There's been a goal at the City ground, TalkSport. Jeff Peters.
We've been here before. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 1. Alexis McAllister, he stomped it in from close range. His effort a few minutes ago ruled out by VAR for handball. Will this one stand? He stomped it in the 96th, 97th minute. Forest players are on their knees in frustration, but McAllister looks like he might have won it for the second time here.
Well, this is incredible, Jeff, isn't it? I mean, Szoboszlai, first and foremost, it's too easy for him to work that ball onto his right foot. There is 2 Liverpool players in an offside position, and if they make contact with this first header into the area, I think this could be offside. I really do. McAllister's popped the ball into the back of the net. He's unmarked. But as that ball comes out, whether it's the second phase or not, but I still think he is in an offside position, Van Dijk, when he heads this ball back across the 6-yard area.
Are we going to have 2 goals ruled out by VAR for Liverpool for the same player late on here at the City ground? They are checking at the moment for possible offside as that ball was swung in. Was Van Dijk in an offside position? He headed it goalwards. Murillo, I think it was, who just knocked the ball away, and McAllister was quickest to react. The referee is Anthony Taylor. The VAR is Paul Tierney. They are still checking it, and the City ground, Mickey Gray, holds its breath.
Well, Van Dijk is definitely offside, isn't he, when the ball comes in from Szoboszlai, and he heads the ball goalward, so he's got to rule it out.
Offside, Sam. Yeah.
Oh, he's given it.
Oh, my goodness. He's given the goal, Sam.
Goal.
He's given the goal. That's incredible, Jeff. I mean, we've seen the still in front of us now, and we can see Virgil van Dijk is in an offside position from the still that we've seen. How can he then head that ball across the area? And again, we're seeing it now, and it's saying he's onside. Well, from the angle I could see, he looked as if he was about a foot offside, Sam, but this is just ridiculous.
We're seeing the lines.
We've got the lines where the grass is cut, so we can see that it's where people are. Virgil van Dijk unless this is an optical illusion, Virgil van Dijk appears to be in front of the last defender. He heads the ball. How is it not offside?
100%. Ekitike, I think, is standing in a more of offside position. Virgil van Dijk looks like he's at least half a body offside to the naked eye. It's another good save from Ortega, to be fair, but that's incredible. I'd love to see the automated lines that they've drawn.
Sam Perry, even if Ekitike does not touch the ball, isn't he not involved in that build-up play? Of course he is. He's in an offside position, and I've seen exactly the same lines as you have, guys, and he's in an offside position. Well, the full-time whistle's gone now. I'll leave it to Jeff, but this is ridiculous.
It's finished. Forest 0, Liverpool 1. Late drama. Doesn't even cover it. Alexis McAllister with the winner. That's what it's going to say in the scorebook in the 97th minute. He thought he'd won it in the 89th minute when Ina's clearance hit him, but handball, VAR ruled it out. Forest went close at the other end, and then in the 97th minute, ball whipped in by Szoboszlai, played back across goal, cleared or stopped from going in by Murillo, and McAllister there once again thumped it in. VAR check. Vitor Pereira can't quite understand it. He was frustrated with the decision. The goal was given, and Liverpool, who have been pretty disappointing overall in this game, somehow have got away with the 3 points. And Vitor Pereira becomes the 7th successive Forest manager to lose their first Premier League game, and he can't really understand why. It's finished at the City ground. Forest 0, Liverpool 1.
We'll come back and discuss it in just a second. We have seen the semi-automated offside graphic, and it suggests that there was a defender behind Virgil van Dijk whose toe was playing Van Dijk onside. That doesn't explain the presence of Ekitike, but we'll discuss that in just a second, because we've got to go to James Fielden. Is it full time there?
All over here, time has been called, and Crystal Palace at the end of another troubled week here in South London have a victory to celebrate, just their second in the Premier League since the 7th of December. And Oliver Glasner, well, he'll still have a very interesting set of post-match interviews to hold, I'm sure, because it's been all about the things going off the field here. But Wolves really kicked themselves in the teeth here twice. They had a penalty 2 minutes before half-time that Tolo Arakadare saw saved by Dean Henderson, the goalkeeper, and then Ladislav Krejci with 2 yellow cards in the space of 3 minutes and 15 seconds saw him sent off. Wolves down to 10, and it was battle stations after that with the Palace onslaught. It didn't look as though they were going to get the job done, but eventually Evan Guesson did. His first for the club as he guided the ball home on the 6-yard line in the 90th minute, and that is going to send most of these fans home happy. But Glasner's walking off. He's waving to the Homestyle fans who are booing him, and the Homestyle fans were singing "We're humble till we die" at the end of this game. But Glasner applauds them here, but he is getting very little back that's positive indeed. He is getting booed from the field of play here by the Palace fans, and a number of hand gestures being offered in his direction as well. They are not happy here despite the victory of the Palace fans, and the fallout will continue from this as Glasner walks back up the tunnel. Some thumbs up to some, but thumbs down for most of the Palace fans, who are now celebrating more with their players as they follow Glasner behind him. Much contrast here between the two sets of adulation, I guess, or lack of adulation you'd give to the players and the manager, but it'd be very interesting to hear from Oliver Glasner after this. We'll bring you the interview, of course, on TalkSport as soon as we have it. The Wolves players with heads in their hands, shirts over their faces, heading back towards the dressing room as well. But for Crystal Palace, of course, that's a win now that is surely going to see them safe. 10 points clear of West Ham, above the drop zone, having played the same number of games. They're not going to be caught and pulled into it from here. It just depends about the future of their club off the field. Oh, what an afternoon. It's finished here at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 1, Wolves 0.
037 17 22 33 44. That is the number to call if you want to get in touch. If you're a Crystal Palace fan that blued Oliver Glasner today, we want to hear from you. If you're a Crystal Palace fan coming out of the ground celebrating 3 points but furious with your manager, I want to hear from you. 037 722 33 44. Let's go off to Paul Mitchell at the Stadium of Light. Surely it's nearly ended now.
Your timing is perfect. It's finished. Sunderland 1, Fulham 3. The referee just blowing the full-time whistle. A first half to forget, but a second half with 4 goals sees a first away Premier League win of 2026 for Fulham, who leapfrogged Sunderland into 10th. Sunderland wasted 2 early chances in the second half and were made to pay. Raul Jimenez with a goal after 54 minutes. Simple ball in from a corner, nodded it unchallenged into the back of the net. 7 minutes later he'd scored again, this time from the penalty spot after a really stupid piece of play by Broby to pull down Calvin Bassey in the area. There was a lifeline though for Sunderland. Dan Ballard worked his way into the box, taken down by Ryan Sessegnon. Enzo Lafille tucked away the penalty kick emphatically with 40 minutes to go, and it was game on again. But Fulham managed things out beautifully, and what a counter-attack goal they scored to round it off. Harry Wilson from inside his own half took the ball all the way to the edge of the penalty area, rolled in Alex Iwobi, who calmly finished, really tight angle, but put it right across the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. All the plaudits for Fulham this afternoon. They won here at the Stadium of Light. It's finished Sunderland 1, Fulham 3.
Benjamin Nygren has scored again for Celtic. He scored on Thursday night against Stuttgart. It ended up just being a consolation, but he's got the equaliser at Parkhead at half-time. It's Celtic 1, Hibernian 1. It's also Livingston 1, Rangers 0. They're into the last few minutes of... in fact, they've just kicked off for the second half in that game. It was a big delay to that Celtic game because of injury time at the end. Let's go back to Mickey Gray. And Mickey, just very quickly on that goal that was allowed right at the end of the match, Alexis McAllister, his goal counted because Virgil van Dijk was being played onside by the toes of Ola Aina, and Ekitike, according to the PGMO, is not interfering with play. Your verdict?
It's ridiculous, Sam, because how's he not involved in the play? Because if you're a fullback or a defender trying to get in front of your man, he's involved in the play, and that's what Aina has to try and do. So Ekitike, for me, is in an offside position. This place is in shock, Sam. It really is. I can't believe that goal has stood.
I suppose it's a little bit like, how can you get into your position? How can you get across to try and mark Van Dijk if, for example, Ekitike is also in your way?
Exactly,
so therefore
and that's why
he would
he's
interfering with play. We're going to discuss this, I'm sure, throughout the course of the afternoon. Stick with us. We'll unpick it a little bit further, but we're also going to build up to what is a huge game here. Our old friend Claire Tomlinson is doing the PA with Paul COYI today here inside this stadium and whipping up the crowd. I'm told one of my friends is in the concourse right now, saying the concourse amongst the Spurs fans absolutely buzzing right now. The atmosphere certainly being ramped up on Game Day Live with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, whatever it is, they're here for it. Forest, Liverpool, Palace, Wolves, Sunderland and Fulham fans, we want to hear your views on what's happened so far today. 03717 2233 44. That's 03717 2233 44. You can WhatsApp us on that number. You can send us a message or a voice note, 81089 on the text. We'll take your reaction shortly and build up to the big North London derby.
Sunday Game Day Live on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now. Like Spurs versus Arsenal live today. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
At Lidl, find your move with the new Crivet hiking range. Grab hiking poles for only $12.99. And with Lidl Plus, you can get £3 off windproof raincoats, so they're only $9.99. Find the full Crivet range in store. Lidl, more to value. 18 plus GB only while stocks last. Terms apply. See lidl.co.uk/LPTV. Offer ends 28th of the 2nd, 26.
A team flying high at the top of the table faces a team battling relegation with a brand new box. And it's a London derby. Could it get more exciting? Well, yes, actually. With a TalkSport Bet Sunday broadcast super boost. Tottenham versus Arsenal. A goal to be scored in both halves of the match. Current price 4-6. Broadcast super boosted price 5-4. TalkSport Bet. Back of the net broadcaster. Bring it on booking. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Dearest listeners, a most romantic rumour is sweeping society. Sky and Netflix are waltzing together this Valentine's Day. So you may swoon over Bridgerton Season 4 on Netflix, and then watch sparks fly in heated rivalry on Sky. Get Sky and Netflix together for just £15 a month. Sky, believe in better.
Prices may change during the 24-month term. £21 a month after. Requires Sky Stream and broadband minimum speed 25 megabits per second. 18 plus. Terms apply.
Sunday Game Day Live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. King of football commentary. Sunday Game Day Live.
It's TalkSport. It is 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. The plot has thickened over the course of the last 10 minutes. Wow, what an ending to the 2 p.m. kickoffs. I'm Sam Matterface for Game Day Live on TalkSport. We're live at Tottenham Hotspur where the new manager Bounce is being put to the ultimate test. He's out there patrolling the warm-up, all very much in his black tight jacket, black slacks and shoes, just making sure everybody knows his presence is here. Igor Tudor. Arsenal feeling the heat. City smelling blood. Across the board of the Scottish Premiership is delivering pure fire today. Neither Celtic or Rangers are winning. In the Steel City derby, Sheffield United have relegated their rivals Sheffield Wednesday, and in the Women's FA Cup we're into extra time between Chelsea and Manchester United. We'll go to Angelina in just a second. This is the home of the action. This is TalkSport. Liverpool have beaten Nottingham Forest in controversial circumstances. Alexis McAllister with a 97th minute winner. Crystal Palace have beaten Wolverhampton Wanderers. A 90th minute winner for Evan Gessan on loan from Aston Villa. Sunderland thrashed at home by Fulham by 3-1. And the North London derby is coming right up with Alex Crook.
Yeah, the two sets of players just going through their final warm-ups. Intriguing team news from both camps, really. João Paulinho and Randall Kolo Muani come in for Tottenham for the injured Wilson Odobert and Dominic Solanke, who drops the bench. We think Igor Tudor, as he likes to do over the course of his career, is going to go with a back three for this North London derby. As for Arsenal, two changes as well from the side that threw away a 2-0 lead at Wolves in midweek. Eberici Eze starts, having scored a hat-trick in the reverse fixture. So does Leandro Trossard. It's Martinelli and Madueke who make way, and Martin Ødegaard, the captain, fit enough for a place on the Arsenal bench. Kickoff rapidly approaching as Tottenham take on Arsenal.
Liverpool against Everton is 4:30 in the Women's FA Cup, 5th round. Charlton through, Manchester City through, Arsenal through today, Brighton through today after a 2-1 win over West Ham United. And who's through at Kings Meadow? Angelina Kelly.
Full-time Chelsea 2, Manchester United 1. Chelsea progressed to the quarter-finals of the FA Cup as their defence of their trophy continues, and it was thanks to that Naomi Girma goal 9 minutes into extra time after a corner pinged around the box. A header from Villa Berman forced Valentulus-Joyce into a great save. She was brilliant today, by the way, but she wasn't able to stop Girma, who was waiting at the post to send it into the back of the net. Man United don't have too long to wait, though, before they can right this wrong. They face Chelsea again in 3 weeks' time in the League Cup final. Full-time Chelsea 2, Manchester United 1.
Elsewhere today, TalkSport 2 is the place for the Super League. Huddersfield Giants 4, Wakefield 8, second half underway. In the Six Nations in Rugby Union, currently score is 19-8 in France's favour. I don't know if anyone can stop France from winning this year's Six Nations, certainly not Italy at the moment. England beat Sri Lanka by 51 runs. India need 162 against South Africa from 15.3 overs to win in the T20 World Cup. And this is TalkSport. We're taking you around the grounds on a Sunday afternoon, and it's a cracker. Sometimes it's just a little slow burner, but it gets there in the end. So let's look at the biggest game of the weekend with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The biggest game of the weekend on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Let's get headline team news from TalkSport's Alex Crook.
Yeah, I'll give you the two 11s in full. Two changes apiece from their last Premier League lineups. Newcastle 2-1 winners here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, putting an end to Thomas Frank's tenure as manager. Paulinho and Kolo Muani are in for Odobert, who is injured. He'll miss the rest of the season. And Solanke, who is benched for Arsenal. Eze and Trossard start. Martinelli and Madueke make way from that 2-2 draw at Molineux live on TalkSport. Spurs then with Vicario in goal, Dragusin, Paulinho and Van der Ven the back three, Gray and Spence the wing backs, Gallagher, Basuma and Sarr in midfield, with Simons up alongside Kolo Muani at the top end of the pitch. For Arsenal, it's Raya in goal, Timber Saliba, Gabriel and Hincapié in defence. Zubamendi and Rice come next, then Saka, Eze and Trossard behind Victor Gyökeres leading the line up front.
Yeah, we're just watching them warm up in the back three at the moment. Tottenham Hotspur, as we suggested that they would. Barcelona got a second goal. Half-time against Levante, they lead by 2-0. Frenkie de Jong with a goal. They're going a point clear of Real Madrid at the top of the table as it stands. Alex, could you just have a look at that video that I've just been sent? It's a video that's just been sent through by one of my friends of the Tottenham fans congregating on the concourse. They're having an absolute joyful time. Now, we've been here a lot this season, and the atmosphere has been dreadful. But looking at those videos that we've been sent here, they look like they're having a cracking time. Are they reacting to the fact that it's a completely different regime this afternoon?
Yeah, they obviously feel like they've been freed from the shackles of Thomas Frank, which I still think maybe is a little bit harsh on him. I think he was probably set up to fail, but they've got a new man in the dugout. They know the significance of this fixture. Results largely have gone their way over the course of the weekend, with West Ham dropping points at home, Nottingham Forest losing late against Liverpool. They've got an opportunity to put daylight between them and the bottom three. I think we're all in thinking that they're too good to go down, Spurs, in terms of individual quality, but they've got to bring it together as a team this afternoon. But the atmosphere is going to be very different.
Could they really get relegated?
Yeah, mathematically, of course they could. And if they get beat today, obviously Nottingham Forest getting beat as well, so that keeps them below them. West Ham getting their point yesterday, are in like decent form. They take 11 points out of the last 6 games, West Ham, so I know they've got difficult fixtures that are coming up. You know, when you talk about presence, I think Wayne Rooney's question on the slot, isn't he, whether he's got the aura or the presence. No one mentioned that last year when they won the Premier League title, but we'll talk about that later on.
With the greatest respect in the world to Wayne Rooney, if you've been fired by Birmingham and Plymouth,
his presence...
You probably shouldn't question the guy who won the Premier League title last year.
His presence didn't really cut it a lot on Plymouth, did it, to be fair? But we're just looking again, you know, when you see the warm-ups, Igor Tudor has walked out and he stood in the middle where everybody's warming up. You know, you have your different groups, don't you? We saw the back three doing the head in and pushing up, dropping off. We saw, like, when you play the 5v5s in the keep ball. He was walking right in the middle of everybody. Yeah. It's to say, I'm the governor. Yeah. I'm in charge here. He's 6'4", and he's a presence.
And actually, it was one of the criticisms of Thomas Frank that potentially he was too nice, and maybe that's why he got swallowed up here. Well, now, I've not met Igor Tudor yet. I'm told he was very pleasant in his press conference, shook the hands of every journalist as he was introduced. I wouldn't want to go into a dressing room and have to face him.
Well, look, I'm no Darth Vader, but I can feel his presence from here. Mickey Gray, who is a little bit further away. Tottenham Hotspur, Igor Tudor has got a presence about him. Is playing Arsenal a good or bad first game?
Well, it'll be a good thing if they get a decent result, Sam, but if they get a thumping of 3 or 4 goals, then it's not going to be the perfect start for Igor Tudor, is it? So I think it's all on the line. And I think it was Perry just said there, can Tottenham get relegated? Yeah, they can, 100%. If they keep performing like they have been in the Premier League and not winning football matches, they're in a relegation fight till the end. They're not getting out of it. And I don't know what about you guys, but I think 40 points is you're going to need to keep you in the Premier League this season, so they've still got a long way to go.
Well, it is worth pointing out, actually, that the bottom of the table looks like this tonight as a result of the results we've had so far, and this is the last result that's going to affect the relegation zone this weekend, bearing in mind that Manchester United play Everton live tomorrow on TalkSport at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. West Ham 18th, 25 points from 27. Forest 27 points from 27. Then come Tottenham in 16th currently, 29 from 26. And Tottenham play Nottingham Forest in the not too distant future. Leeds 31 from 27, just above them. They also have a game against Tottenham Hotspur soon. Crystal Palace have pulled themselves away a little bit with 35 points from 27. They go above Brighton into 13th position. Brighton winning yesterday also put a bit of distance between them and the relegation zone. But Tottenham play Crystal Palace in midweek in 10 days' time, which is going to be fascinating as well.
I'm not sure West Ham get to 40 points. They're going to need, 5 wins from their last 11 games. I think that's asking a lot, especially when you look at some of their fixtures.
But they are in good form, and they got a clean sheet yesterday,
yeah.
Somerville's in really good form as well. Jared Bowen's always a threat. By the way, just got to ask you, how's our football bet going?
Wait till the end of the game before you start going off. You've lost so many bets this year.
I can't make up my mind.
If I was you, I wouldn't even bring it up. I don't think you've won one all season.
I've been done by a dodgy refereeing decision.
And I've been done by an idiot who got himself sent off, and a guy who couldn't kick a penalty.
I can't make up my mind. I used to be indecisive, but
it's all for charity. Come on, this is not very charitable.
This is not very charitable. Exactly, Crook. Well said. It's the first thing you said.
Wallowing in your own mediocrity. Yeah, well done.
Well, we don't like to bring it up when people lose bets. It's not fair, victimising. It's a charity bet, by the way, and we're trying to win money for the Bobby Moore Cancer Fund.
Try harder.
And we do our best. Well, some of us have posted quite a lot of money in that fund already this season. You're not one of them. That was a look at the biggest game of the weekend with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The biggest game of the weekend on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Let's get the latest odds from Betfair.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
And Tottenham Hotspur against Arsenal kicks off in just a few minutes' time. Did you know that Spurs are 6-1 to win this game? Igor Tudor always wins his first game in charge of a new club, but he's taking on Arsenal today, and Spurs' record against Arsenal is dreadful. They're 5-2 on to win the game. The draw is 11-4. That's all thanks to Betfair. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Could be a fascinating weekend in the title race, because there was a point when they were 9 points clear, Arsenal, at the top of the table. If they were to lose today, the gap would be 2, and Manchester City would have a game in hand. Let's go outside the stadium. TalkSport's Harry Durham is there, and a little birdie tells me you've got a special name with you. Who have you found, Harry?
Sam, thank you very much. I'm with the world famous lead judges of AFTV just outside the away end here in North London. Lee, your instant reaction to the Arsenal starting 11?
Yeah, quite pleased with the team. Not that many changes. Eze coming in, I think, because of obviously what he done at the Emirates. I think that's why he's in. Odegaard on the bench, quite a strong bench. Saka obviously back to his normal position on the right, so no place for Madueke. And Trossard, a little bit curious what happened with that injury on Wednesday for him to be able to play today, but he's obviously fit, and it's a strong Arsenal side, can't lie.
Are you scared about today, Lee, and your title hopes?
I'm not scared about today, I'm scared about Arsenal. Well, it's all about what we do, I keep saying that. If we turn up and play well, then we win the game. But listen, I think the result on Wednesday has given them a little bit of hope that we can produce another performance like that. Listen, we lost to Man United a couple of weeks back and then put in a fantastic performance against Leeds. Got to do that again today.
Lee, thank you so much for your time. Get yourself in there and we'll see you at full time. No, Sam, back to you inside the stadium.
Oh, we're very excited about this, the 199th North London derby. Shortly we're going to take your reaction as well to today's earlier Premier League matches. Liverpool beat Forest, Palace beat Wolves, and Sunderland were beaten at home by Fulham. That doesn't tell you even a tenth of the story. Fans of those sides certainly have got a lot more to say, and we'll hear from them next. 0371722 3344. If you want to WhatsApp us or you want to send us a text, 81089, we'll take those. Voice notes, 0371722 3344 is the best way to get in touch with us if you want to have a rant, especially if you're one of those Palace fans that booed Oliver Glasner today. It feels like you've had enough of him, even though you won today. Can he stay as your boss after what he said about you? Stay humble. Stay humble. 03717223344. Next, we're continuing to build up to Spurs against Arsenal. Kicks off in just 10 minutes' time.
You know what I love about Eurostar? The comfortable seats with lots of legroom. You know what I don't love? Playing hide and seek with my feet, or playing footsies with my neighbour.
Ouch!
Sorry. Now that I'm on the Eurostar, the only game I'm playing is stretchy leg, and I always win. Ugh. That's the ticket.
Eurostar. Together we go further. Legroom varies by class of service.
At Tesco Mobile, club card prices are frozen, so your contract price stays on ice. So you can get our unlimited data SIM for just £20 a month for 24 months with club card prices, saving you a huge £120. And it stays like that for the length of your contract. It pays to be connected. Search Tesco Mobile. Every little helps. Ends 22nd of March. Club card and 24-month credit agreement required. Savings calculated on contract duration. Terms at tescomobile.com/terms.
Football Sunday Game Day Live.
This North London derby always delivers.
Van der Ven! Nicky Van der Ven with an absolute cracker for Spurs.
Spurs got a new manager. We're looking at a new bounce. Come in all guns blazing, and I think they're going to smell a bit of blood. I think Arsenal are there for the taking.
Arsenal simply have to win. Anything other than a win for Arsenal is a catastrophe.
And that's why it's the frustration, because the players are good enough. I think the manager's brilliant, and we love them and we support them.
Header into the back of the net! Unbelievable! Declan Rice has headed the ball home.
It is a feisty derby, a test of credentials.
It's TalkSport, it's Sam Matterface, Alex Crook, and in disguise, Perry Groves, plus Mickey Gray, all bringing you all the action from the North London derby. Can you hear Paul Coyte whipping up the crowd? I have to tell you, forget everything else right now. This atmosphere is spine-tingling, Perry Groves.
I've got no hair on my head, but the hairs at the back of my neck are standing up. Trust me, this is, as a player, this is where you want to be. These are the occasions you want to play in. Now it's time for the Arsenal players to stand up, be counted, and prove that they can handle the pressure.
Let's look ahead to some of this afternoon's Premier League action with Sky Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now. Like Spurs versus Arsenal live today. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
Since the start of 2026, Alex, when there's been a full programme of fixtures, if Arsenal have had to go after Manchester City, they haven't won. Have they got the minerals to win here today?
Well, I think we're going to find out over the course of the afternoon. You've mentioned the atmosphere.
We know we're going to find out. I want to know your opinion.
You mentioned the atmosphere already. You saw the animosity as the Arsenal players emerged from that tunnel over on the far side, coming into the stadium. And that scoreboard pressure is there, isn't it? Manchester City getting the job done against a decent Newcastle side last night. I think the first 10 minutes of this game are going to tell us an awful lot. Can Arsenal settle into it? Can they silence this very loud home crowd? Or are we going to see Tottenham come out the blocks quickly to try and impress their scary new manager?
This is unbelievable. The noise in here is brilliant. This is what this stadium was built for. That bank away to our right was supposed to be that big wall of noise. It certainly feels like that. And when they come out here and they have that huge, great mosaic away to our right-hand side in the next few minutes, it's going to be some sight. Listen, Mickey Gray, you're at the City Ground. You've played in massive derbies, northeast derbies. You know what it is like to be in a hostile environment. If you're an away team player walking into this cauldron of noise, what are you going to be thinking?
What managers always say in the away dressing room is silence the crowd as quick as you possibly can, Sam. I can barely hear you guys speaking, actually. I've got the headphones on. It does sound incredible. I've got the screen in front of me now. I can't wait for this game to start, but it sounds electric.
It is absolutely electric. Arsenal's title push is wobbling a little bit, Perry Groves. They've dropped 7 points from winning positions in the last 5 Premier League games. The 2-2 at Wolves was the first time in Premier League history that the bottom side avoided defeat against the leaders, having trailed by 2 goals. Is that the pressure telling? And what did you make of the comments from Mikel Arteta this week? Do you want to be a player who, after all these years, has been asking to be part of an Arsenal winning title side, and then moan about the fact that everyone's talking about you when things don't go right?
Sam, when you play for Arsenal, I was privileged to put on that shirt. You know you're judged on a different level. You know it is world news. Now Arsenal are relevant, challenging for the title. Say, these players, these are the arenas that you want to come and play in. You mentioned about, obviously, the poor last 20 minutes against Wolves. You've got to look at the bigger picture. Arsenal got 1 defeat in the last 20 games, all competitions, and when they've had a little setback, normally they go on a little winning run. So, as Cookie said, you've got to come here and silence this crowd. We've got the 3,000 Arsenal fans over to our left-hand side. They're being out-drowned at the moment, obviously, by the 59,000 Spurs fans, but Arsenal have to get themselves on the ball and dominate it. But it'd be interesting to see. We said about Igor Tudor, the way that he likes to play his free at the back, but he said he wants his team to be aggressive and he wants his team to be on the front foot. So it'd be interesting to see how Spurs go about this first sort of 5-10 minutes.
And all I would say is we were asking the same sort of questions about Arsenal after they lost at home to Manchester United, and they went away to Leeds, which we all thought would be a tricky game again in a hostile environment, and they absolutely destroyed Daniel Farke's side that afternoon. So whenever they have been asked questions over the course of this season, more often than not, they've come up with the right answers.
Tottenham, the only side in the Premier League without a win in 2026, drawn 4, lost 4. They picked up 4 points. It's the longest current winless run. 10 points from 13 home Premier League games this season. Only Wolves have picked up fewer. 1 home win since the opening day of the season in the Premier League. But they cannot fail to be inspired by this noise. It's absolutely deafening. It's ear-splitting inside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I hope it's coming through your radio the way it feels inside this arena, because there have been complaints that this is a multi-purpose event arena and not a football stadium, but it is smothering today, and it feels like something has really caught the Tottenham Hotspur supporters. I mentioned earlier about the videos from inside the concourse. They're really going for it. They're up for it. Are Arsenal up for it? That is the big question. That was a look at this afternoon's big Premier League action with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Spurs versus Arsenal live today. Search Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now, like Spurs versus Arsenal live today. Search Now Sports. 18+. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Wow, what a scoreline in the Scottish Premiership. Livingston lead by 2-0 against Rangers. They're just about to hit the 70th minute mark there. Hearts lead the race by 5 points. Celtic still not winning in their game. It's 1-1 into the second half. Benjamin Nygren getting the equaliser. Earlier on today, Liverpool beat Nottingham Forest in controversial circumstances. Palace beat Wolves, and Fulham thrashed Sunderland by 3-1. And here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the North London derby about to start. Away to our left, the Arsenal players have walked over to where their supporters are. They're in a huddle. They're trying to keep out of the way. The Tottenham players in the middle of the pitch, soaking up this atmosphere. It's so loud in here right now, you can barely hear yourself think. And it's going to be a wonderfully interesting game, just to really find out how Tottenham are going to perform under the tutelage of Igor Tudor, and how Arsenal are going to respond to dropping 2 points at bottom club Wolverhampton Wanderers in midweek. Peter Banks is the referee. Arsenal in red shirts with white sleeves and white socks, white shorts, red socks, attacking the goal away to our right in the first half. It's white bodied tops with thick navy trim and thick navy shorts, and white socks for Tottenham Hotspur are shooting from right to left. Declan Rice gets the first touch. The boos are immediate, and we're underway in the 199th North London derby, live on Talk Sport. What a fascinating afternoon of football we've already had. What a fascinating football afternoon to come. We'll take your reaction to Forest 0, Liverpool 1, Palace 1, Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, Fulham 3. Fans of all those sides, send us a voice note, 03717 223344. Mickey van der Ven goes sliding in for the first tackle of the game on Bukayo Saka, and it sets the agenda. And this is the place where you can set the agenda too. We'll hear from you next.
My classroom isn't just a classroom. It's a launch pad, a runway, a place where ideas fly on the back of paper planes. Sure, there are other ways to get students to speak up, but this is mine. All it takes is a bit of creativity and soon they're all joining in. It gives me a lot of joy to see one of my ideas working in the moment and the class learning something new together. That's when you know a lesson is really taking off.
Every lesson shapes a life. Start shaping yours with a minimum starting salary of £31,000. Search Get Into Teaching.
Say yes to summer with the biggest ever TUI sale with a My TUI account. Say yes to flexible payment options. Say yes to free kids' places, even in the school summer holidays. With so many holiday options to choose from, you pick it, we sort it. Holiday countdown started. TUI, ATOL and ABTA protected. Booking T's and C's apply. Selected departures. Minimum spend apply. Subject to availability. See website for details.
Hello, Greg James here.
And I'm Sima Pankania.
And we're the hosts of the Tesco Kitchen.
Every week, Greg and I invite a real food icon into the kitchen to cook a dish that really means something to them.
Next up, we've got a farm-to-fork trailblazer, best-selling author, and all-round great man. It's Julius Roberts.
Julius is going to be cooking the most incredible creamy tarragon roast chicken, giving us a masterclass in chicken preparation and telling us some beautiful stories of life in the farm.
And it's live right now on YouTube, so give it a watch.
Another early morning gym session skipped. Some New Year's resolutions set you up to fail, but a new Mazda CX-30 is the one you will want to keep. Available with 0% APR and a £750 deposit contribution during the Mazda January sale. Order by the 31st of January. Search Mazda. Available on PCP when financed by Mazda Financial Services by the 31st of March 26. Indemnities may be required. Terms apply. Participating dealers. See website.
Chase is the digital bank that gives you 1% cash back on fuel.
Like for visiting family this weekend?
Yep.
What about at a public EV charging point?
Of course. And with all that cash back, you could turn it into...
some new trainers.
That's right. Get 1% cash back on groceries, everyday transport and fuel with Chase. Search Chase Bank. 18 plus UK residents, 1% cash back on this debit card spending for your first year. Maximum £15 per month. Eligibility and exceptions apply. May be changed or withdrawn.
Football Sunday. Game Day Live.
We've been here before. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 1. Alexis McAllister, he stomped it in from close range. His effort a few minutes ago ruled out by VAR for handball. Will this one stand? He stomped it in the 96th, 97th minute. Forest players are on their knees in frustration, but McAllister looks like he might have won it for the second time here.
Game Day Live, Talk Sport with me, Sam Matterface, live at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We're reacting to Liverpool leaving it late to beat Nottingham Forest, but first elsewhere today. Liverpool 1, Forest 0, Palace 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Sunderland 3-1 defeat at home to Fulham. Sheffield United beat Sheffield Wednesday by 2-1, and Wednesday have been relegated to League One. Celtic 1, Hibernian 1, Livingston 2, Rangers 0. In the women's fifth round of the FA Cup, Brighton winners, Arsenal through, Chelsea through, Man City through, Charlton through, Liverpool-Everton just got underway. It's 0-0 in that game. Vicario is out of his goal. Trossard sending it forward. It's not going to reach Gyökeres. It is going to be cleared away by Dragusin. What on earth was going on there, Alex Crook?
I'm not sure what Mickey van der Ven was doing, letting it bounce inside his own penalty area. Vicario was in no man's land. Trossard put the ball back into the box, and because of that hesitation from van der Ven, Gyökeres almost got on the end of it. He did get on the end of a cross a few moments ago from Jurrien Timber down this right-hand side, nodded the ball down towards the goal, and it was cleared from around about 3 yards out by Radu Dragusin. 5 minutes gone, it's Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0, but a good start in this cauldron that is the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium from the visitors.
I was about to say, the atmosphere has been terrific from the Tottenham Hotspur supporters, but Arsenal have made a very assertive start, Perry Groves.
Yeah, they've been very controlled in possession. We just saw there an instance where Spurs have got the 5-3-2 formation and they're trying to press like a mid-press. When it went back to David Raya, they tried to press high up the pitch. There's no pressure on the ball. David Raya just pinged it, 40, 50, 60 yards. Bukayo Saka looked like he's getting in. Vicario comes out. It's like he'd been shot out of a cannon. He was like a diving header. In the end, it was good goalkeeping because Saka looked like he was going to be in. So I think this is the way the game's going to go, where Arsenal maybe will have, the lion's share of possession and Spurs will keep that 5-3-2. Just looking at Richie Eze, who's playing in the inside right position. Basuma is actually going man for man. Everywhere he's going, he's following him.
Arsenal on the attack again, and it's not the first time that they've got good possession inside Tottenham Hotspur territory, but it remains 0-0 here. We played 6 minutes at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Celtic 1, Hibernian 1. That game into the second half. There's 12 minutes left there. Remember, it's going to be a good day for Hearts if it stays like this, because Celtic are dropping points and Livingston beating Rangers by 2-0, and Rangers dropping points. Celtic have just had Austin Trusty sent off as well with 16 minutes to go, so they're down to 10 players and struggling to beat Hibernian. There might be a late twist in that tail. There was certainly a late twist in the tail in the game at the City Ground. Liverpool winners by a goal to 0. Nottingham Forest had seen one goal disallowed from Alexis McAllister, and then he scored again, and that one did stand. And Jeff Peters has been catching up with him about those crazy last few minutes of that game at the City Ground. Here he is.
It's always important to arrive in the box. I had 2 opportunities. One was disallowed, but the second one was in, so that tells you a lot about the mentality, because I knew I was going to have another one, and glad because we got the result.
When the team perhaps isn't playing at its best, isn't playing, firing on all cylinders, when you go back into a dressing room going, hey, we've just taken 3 points there, that must make everybody feel amazing.
Yeah, it's a mix of feelings. I was speaking with Dom a little bit, and he said, I prefer to play like this and win 1-0. It's always better when you play well, when you have chances, when you can play much better than today, because our first half it wasn't good, second half a little bit better, but still not our standards. So we are definitely not happy with the performance, but the 3 points are so important, and that gives us a bit of confidence to go into the next game.
This is TalkSport. That was Alexis McAllister. Mickey Gray is over at the City Ground. And it was fascinating, wasn't it, really, Mickey? Because you're pretty convinced that Ugo Ekitike was interfering with play when that goal was scored. The second late goal that McAllister netted, but the one that actually stood.
Well, how can he not be, Sam? How can he not be involved? Because as we were talking about earlier, about as a defender, you want to get yourself in a certain position to try and clear your lines. He cannot get into that position because of where Ugo Ekitike is stood. So he has to be involved in the build-up to that goal, albeit he didn't touch the ball. I think Nottingham Forest have been really hard done by, I have to say. Look, it's a great finish from McAllister. I think they got the right one, the first one right with the handball. In the law, it was the right decision, but that second one was cruel, because I've got to say, Nottingham Forest didn't deserve to lose today. They were absolutely outstanding in the first half, but the problem all season is they can't score goals. But we will be talking about that decision. Should it have stood or should it not?
We've got a delay in play here. Nobody knows why, and it's been delayed for about 2.5 minutes now. Peter Banks, the referee, has stopped the game. There's something to do with the official over on the far side, who is Blake Antrobus. He was talking to, I think it was a sort of technician behind the advertising boards over on the far side. But the game still stopped and no one really knows what's happening. This is one of those moments where you could use that microphone, referee, and tell everybody what's going on.
It's all very bizarre, and it came actually at the end of another good Arsenal move, which almost led to the opening goal. 0-0 at 10 minutes on the clock. It was Nkapie feeding Victor Gyökeres down the left-hand side. He cuts in his right foot. He goes beyond Radu Dragusin, curls a shot towards the bottom left corner, and he just skips past that far post and behind for a goal kick. The referee, Peter Banks, currently in conversation with one or two of the Spurs players, but you're right, nobody inside the stadium has got the foggiest idea why we've stopped playing.
It's not a communication issue because they're talking to each other. It's not a medical emergency because we would have seen something develop over on the far side. The players are now asking for balls to come on so that they can keep warm because the game has been stopped for so long. Igor Tudor is having a word with Mickey van der Ven and Yves Bissouma in the middle of the park. Over on the far side, Peter Banks is just standing on the edge of the centre circle looking at his watch. The Tottenham players now have got balls and they're kicking it around. No one's got the foggiest idea of what's happening.
Is there any danger of putting it up on the screen? I've got a massive screen just to let everybody know what is going on, because no one's got a clue, and it's done Spurs a favour because Arsenal were on top for that first 5-10 minutes, you know what I mean? So the game sort of settled down.
He's got the ability to be able to talk to everyone. We know that because they do it all the time now with the VAR explanations. The big screen, there's 4 of them the size of houses in the corners of the ground. Why are they not explaining what's going on?
The suggestion is that it is a communication issue between the officials. He's just explaining that now, Peter Banks, to Mikel Arteta, who looks as perplexed as the rest of us. Igor Tudor, as you say, was using that break in play just to get some messages to his players. But this is a nonsense, really. This is a North London derby. It's being watched by millions of people around the world. It's a packed stadium, and the information as to why we've got this long stop in play is not being relayed properly.
It is the assistant over on the far side who's got an issue with his pack. Now, what I don't understand is he could have gone over and spoken to that technician who's been there for 10 minutes, like literally 3, 4, 5 minutes ago. But he was standing further down the touchline, I'm guessing, whilst the other guy got another pack ready.
Oh, who cares? Just get on with the game.
Absolutely.
Honestly, what nonsense.
I know they'll say that you need to be communication between obviously Peter Banks and his assistants, but the game was flowing. It was a brilliant atmosphere. I said it's done Spurs players a favour, but it's actually done Arsenal a bit of a favour because the atmosphere has just died down because no one else knows what's going on.
The atmosphere. And actually, for the first 2-3 minutes of that pause, there was quite sort of like still a bit of an atmosphere in here, and the Spurs fans were singing. But the longer it went on with no one knows what the hell was going on.
His assistant's off, he's got his flag, he's all right.
Football existed for a lot of years without relying on technology.
Well, the other thing is it's not vital technology, is it? Let's be honest. They could have played for another 5 minutes without them talking to one another, using the old-fashioned way of communicating, that flag that's in his hand.
Well, there'd be a novelty. There'd be a novelty.
That's common sense.
And then they could have given him the pack once it was all ready. I mean, I know maybe I'm sounding a little bit simplistic here.
You're not allowed to have common sense in football anymore. But it has to be the laws.
That flag's quite bright. I mean, I can see it from here.
If I wasn't so professional, I might have joined in with the booze, by the way. But we are back off and running, and Javi Simons has an attack, and out comes Raya and collects the ball, 0-0.
Whenever there is booze, you're always on the scene. Let's go to Mickey Gray at the City Ground. Mickey, let's go back to that Liverpool decision. We were asking you about the situation involving that controversial decision. Look, at the end of the day, it's been given. Liverpool have won, but their performance wasn't very good, was it? What do you put that down to?
Absolutely not, Sammy. I mean, you can put it down to injuries, but every club in the Premier League have got injuries at the moment. Look, I think his starting 11 was wrong in the positions that they were playing. Szoboszlai is not a right back. He's one of the best midfielders, if not the best at the moment, in that midfield area. We've seen some of the goals he's got over the last few weeks, and he just looked isolated in that right back position. And Hudson-Odoi had so much joy against him in that first half until Arne Slot made that change. And I mentioned while the game was going on, Alisson was the person who actually came over to have a word with Arne Slot to say, look, this is not working. We need to change it a little bit. And they put Curtis Jones in that right back position, which then gave Szoboszlai a little bit of a better opportunity to get into more further positions. Now, we all know where the goal come from. Szoboszlai was the player who put the ball into the area. He wouldn't have been in that position in the second half if he kept him at right back. But there was no flow. They were giving the ball away. They never looked confident. It was as if Liverpool had not had any days off. They'd had 8 days off before they played the game today. And Nottingham Forest were the side who played in midweek. They were outstanding in the first half. And if they had a striker who could score regular goals, Sam, they would have won this game in 45 minutes. They had so many chances.
That is the biggest problem with Nottingham Forest, isn't it? And, looking at the statistics, obviously I think Liverpool were better in the second half than they were in the first, but they hardly had a kick in that first 45 minutes. 18 shots they had, Nottingham Forest, in the game, but only 2 on target. And when you look at them over the course of the season, they've now failed to score in 13 Premier League games. Only Wolves have failed to score in more. That is the issue, isn't it? It's pretty simple. They need goals, but that was the issue under Sean Dyche.
Yeah, it was. Look, and you can't keep waiting for Chris Wood to get himself fit and put him back in the starting 11. I don't think it's going to happen this season. They've knew they had an issue. They've tried to rectify it by bringing players in. But talk about today's game, Sam. What about the game against Wolves? Was it 30-odd opportunities they had in that game?
Yeah,
and not being able
shots,
to score goals. So it's been a concern. It's something that Vitor Pereira's now got to work on his forward players and get them into better positions, because they play some wonderful football today. But when they get into that final third, there's no confidence, whether it's from Igor Jesus or the players that are coming off the bench. They've got to get players into that area and start scoring goals, because if they don't, they're going to get dragged closer and closer into that relegation zone.
They are indeed. 0371722 3344 is the number to call if you want to get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. We would like to take your WhatsApps. 03717223344 is the WhatsApp number. You can text us 81089. Lee, the Wolves follower, reluctant to admit to being a fan, he says in brackets on the text. Annoying that Wolves lost, but why was McAllister's goal for Liverpool disallowed when not facing the ball and with his arms down by his side in a natural position? The other way round would definitely have seen a defender not guilty of handball. VAR is awful, as are Wolves. What else can we say? Well, let me explain it to you. You're absolutely right. The other way round, you definitely would not have had a penalty given for that, because a defender would not be guilty of handball in that circumstance. However, in Law 12 of the IFAB laws of the game, it specifically says that if a player scores in the opponent's goal directly from their hand or arm, even if accidental, it is an offence. So must be ruled out. So there was no option there for the VAR and the referee. They had to rule it out. Let's get the latest from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. TalkSport's Perry Groves and Alex Crook.
18 minutes gone, Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0. But I tell you what, Tottenham are doing their best to give Arsenal the lead here. Xavi Simons has just played a hospital ball back towards his own penalty area, intercepted by Leandro Trossard. Probably had more time than he used. He's gone for goal 20 yards out, and he's fired high over that crossbar and wide as well, away to our right hand side. And William Saliba up from the back had a really good chance just before that. It was a corner taken by Bukayo Saka on this right hand side, nodded down at the far post. Saliba inside the 6-yard box could only put his header wide. All of the chances have come Arsenal's way so far, but it's still Spurs 0, Arsenal 0.
This is TalkSport, Game Day Live on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all of the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Spurs versus Arsenal live right now. Search Now Sports. We'll keep you updated from the game here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We'll continue to review today's Premier League matches as well, where Forest were beaten at home by a goal to nil. Mickey Gray's not happy about the award of that goal at the end. Palace 1, Wolves 0, and Sunderland 1, Fulham 3. This is TalkSport. We're at the North London derby, where it's still goalless.
I've always been ambitious, and in teaching, I've found plenty of opportunities to progress. As head of English, I now get to support all the other teachers in my department. They often learn from my advice, though actually, I often learn from theirs. The support and development we all get from each other is amazing. It benefits not just us, but every student we teach. How many of the professions can say that?
Every lesson shapes a life. Start shaping yours with a minimum starting salary of £31,000. Search Get Into Teaching.
Sunday Game Day Live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Mr. Q. At Mr. Q, we tell it how it is. When players win, they love Q. Like a Portuguese prima donna loves polishing a statue of himself. But when players lose, they hate Q. Like a last-minute VAR controversy. Mr. Q, the casino you love to hate. And you'll love 100 free spins on Big Bass Splash with your first deposit. Play at mrq.com or on the app. UK 18 plus residents only. Minimum £10 first deposit. 10p per spin. Free spins must be used within 48 hours of depositing. All winnings paid in cash. T's and C's apply. Play safely.
Selling your car can be super simple if you choose We Buy Any Car instead of selling privately. We Buy Any Car can get it sorted in under an hour, so no weekends watching randoms inspect your car to not even buy it. If only they could make finding where you park simpler. Is it floor 2 or 3? I swear I parked here. Where is it? We Buy Any Car. Selling made simple. To get a quote in 30 seconds, enter your reg number now at webuyanycar.com.
When life gives you that Friday feeling, get your restaurant faves in as little as 25 minutes on Deliveroo. Whether it's zesty lemon pepper wings from Wingstop, tasty noodle soup from Pho, or peri-salted chips from Nando's. So when you've got that last email sent, the to-do list ticked, we've got dinner sorted. Deliveroo, now just got even better. Geographical restrictions, T's and C's and fees apply. Delivery times vary. See app or web for info.
Sport. It's in your DNA. That's why at SpreadX Sports, you get great offers and features to aid your sports betting, including £30 in free bets when you join and place a qualifying £10 fixed odds bet at minimum odds of 1 to 2. Visit spreadx.com/DNA for full terms and conditions. SpreadX Sports. It's in our DNA. 18 plus gamblerware.org. Qualifying bets cannot be cashed out early. Once settled, get 3 free £10 fixed odds bets on consecutive days. Free bet stakes not included in any winnings. Free bets must be claimed within 28 days.
Sunday Game Day Live on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now. Like Spurs versus Arsenal live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Eat yourself fit with football. Sunday Game Day Live.
90th minute match winner for Crystal Palace. Evan gets on with his first for the club, and this time they did make it count when a ball flashed across the penalty area, and some light relief for Oliver Glasner, who has felt the heat today.
It's Sunderland 1, Fulham 3, Fulham unbeaten in the last 5 Premier League matches at the Stadium of Light. Click that up to 6. Alex Iwobi with a brilliant goal. What a break from the back. What a goal to round things off here. Sunderland 1, Fulham 3.
A rip-roaring Game Day Live on TalkSport with me, Sam Matterface. Shortly we'll be reacting to today's Premier League games, but first elsewhere today, Liverpool beat Nottingham Forest by a goal to nil. Palace 1-0 winners over Wolverhampton Wanderers. Sunderland 1, Fulham 3, Spurs 0, Arsenal 0. We're into the 22nd minute of the game. Arsenal got a free kick 12 yards short of the edge of the penalty area, and Jed Spence is being spoken to by the referee. Might be the first man to go into the referee's notebook. He's been so far pretty balanced with the way he's dealt with the game. He's just trying to calm things down. Maybe he will decline to book him. In fact, he has declined to book Jed Spence, and it is just going to be a free kick about 12-13 yards back from the edge of the area. The offence was a bit further forward than that, and he's actually pulled the free kick back too far, really. Celtic now 2-1 down at home to Hibernian. Livingston 2 down to 10 men. Rangers 2. Wow, what a fascinating day in the Scottish Premiership. It is all kicking off. Absolutely fascinating. A goal from Mikey Moore of Tottenham Hotspur on loan at Rangers, scoring with 2 minutes to go. They're in the 97th minute there. It's 2-2 in the Scottish Premiership. They're going to drop points unless they can get a late winner. Celtic 1, Hibernian 2. They're in the 95th minute of that game. Andrews with the winner with 3 minutes to go. And in the Women's FA Cup, Brighton through, Chelsea through, Manchester City through, Charlton through. France 26-8 up over Italy in the Six Nations. Wakefield have beaten Huddersfield Giants on TalkSport 2, and India need 88 runs to win.